Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. We're at Dodger Stadium, not only for the final game of the four-game series with the Cardinals, but the final game of the homestand, and we are running out of home games. Dodgers will go out on the road tomorrow to play Washington, Cincinnati, and San Diego. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, it would appear, have an easier schedule. Their 9 coming up will be against Houston and Chicago. Also, as Mike Matheny stands with his lineup card, he got some better news than Don Mattingly, who lost Clayton Kershaw. Mike Matheny has found out that Chris Carpenter, the big ace, the right-hander, who was the Cy Young Award winner, who's been down. However, after thoracic surgery, Carpenter has made a rather remarkable improvement and recovery. And yesterday, in warming up, pitching a simulated game, Chris Carpenter made 95 pitches. That's up from 70 his last time. So that means we'll probably see Carpenter pitching in the Cardinal rotation for the last 10 days or so. With that note, we'll go to their lineup. John Jay leads off in center field. Carlos Beltran in right field. He was out last night with a stiff back. Matt Holliday in left. Alan Craig at first base. Yadier Molina, the catcher. David Freese at third. Skip Schumacher at second base. Pete Kozma, the shortstop. Adam Wainwright, the pitcher. On the mound for the Dodgers, Stephen Fife, replacing Clayton Kershaw in a huge game. And, of course, trying to stay above it all and make it just another day's work. Fife at least can go back to his own personal experience. He's already gone up against Roy Halladay. Then he faced Matt Cain. His last time here, he faced Pat Corbin of Arizona, and Corbin shut out the Dodgers, so he didn't even have a run for support. So today, he has a huge challenge, as Clayton Kershaw can only stand and wait, but serve at the same time. But how difficult it must be for Clayton Kershaw, the ace of the staff, the fires burning in the pit of that 24-year-old stomach, would have been searching his 13th win and having a great ERA after 30 starts. But Kershaw is unable to pitch. The Dodgers won't let him pitch unless when he goes to New York and has the hip examined, they get the green light. That, of course, would really be something for Mattingly and company, not only to get the emotional lift of getting Kershaw back, but actually get his talents back in the lineup. But only time will tell in the next few days. He is supposedly to be examined, as I understand it, on Tuesday by a hip specialist in New York. After that, we'll have something to talk about. Right now, we have plenty to talk about as the Dodgers and Cardinals tied up, and they're pursued. The Pirates are back by 2. Milwaukee back by 2.5. The Phillies back by 3. To bring you up to date, the Phillies are winning, the Brewers are winning, the Pirates are winning, so the pack is closing in indeed. Phillies are leading the Astros 4-3 in the 7th. The Brewers lead the Mets 3-0 in the 7th. Pirates lead the Cubs 5-1 in the 5th. Halladay, by the way, left for a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, with the Phillies leading 4-3. The first pitch to John Jay, the fleet-footed center fielder, is in for a strike, and Stephen Fife, F-I-F-E, known as Barney from the great show, 0-1 the count. Big right-hander comes back with a big slow curveball in for a strike, and the count 0-2. Temperature, considering what's been going on, is a very comfortable 86 degrees. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way to John Jay. The left-hand hitter holds up on a pitch in the dirt. They're going to see if they're ruling a strike, and they are. And Jay finally walks away, having been rung up. So Jay tries to hold up, couldn't do it, strikes out on a breaking ball in the dirt. 1 away, and Carlos Beltran coming up. The wonderful Carlos Beltran facing Barney Pipe. Beltran on this road trip is 5 for 14, and among other things, he has been around long enough now to have passed some great milestones. He takes ball 1. For instance, he hit 400th career stolen base in July against Pittsburgh. He had 300 against Kansas City. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Beltran slaps it into left field for a base hit. Boy, he is really something. You know, he's their first ever switch hitter with 300 home runs and 300 stolen bases. So Beltran, a line drive single to left, and the batter will be Matt Holliday. Holliday in last night's game had a leadoff single, and that was followed by a home run by Alan Craig. Holliday had a 2-run home run himself in the second game of the series, went hitless in game 1, and he's right there at 299, 27 home runs, 96 runs batted in. The Holliday waits. Out of a stretch is Fife. A look at Beltran, and the pitch to Holliday is fouled back, and the count 0-1. For Matt Holliday, he leads the Cardinals 51 multi-hit games. So Matt back up and waiting. Another thing about Holliday, he has played in 142 of the 146 games. So now it's 143 out of 147. So Holliday grinding it out every day. Beltran over there at first, and gives Fife something to think about, of course. Beltran, a short lead for the moment, has stolen 13 out of 18. The strike one pitch coming up to Matt Holliday. Fife ready and deals and hits him high up on the left shoulder. So Matt hit by the pitch, and the Cardinals are in business. They have first and second with 1 out, and their big butter and egg man coming up. It's pretty hard to believe that Alan Craig, who hits behind Holliday, and Holliday with 96 runs batted in, Alan Craig still has been able to come up with 80 runs batted in, and Craig has had some big hits in this series. Alan Craig has a 9-game hitting streak. With runners in scoring position, he's number 1 in the National League. He's hitting .393, and he has Beltran out there at second base right now with 1 out. So Fife set at the belt, checks the runners, going to the bag at second, but no play. Mark Ellis trying to pick off Beltran, and if nothing else, try to take a step away from him. Craig not only leading at .393 with runners in scoring position, but with 2 out. He is a solid hitter, and with less than 2 outs, he's out of this world, and he's up there now with only 1 out and takes a strike. With less than 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, Alan Craig is hitting .500. 0-1 to count to Allen. Craig waiting. Fife in a jam. Struck out Jay. Beltran singled, and he hit Holliday. Strike one pitch coming up to Alan Craig, and that swung on, whacked foul outside of third down the line, and the count 0-2. So Alan Craig out of Mission Viejo, went to school at the University of California, Berkeley, drafted 6 years ago by the Cardinals. They wanted him to take off some weight. He did, and it has certainly contributed to his success. In fact, last year with the Cardinals, he had .315. So Carpenter waiting. Now the strike two pitch on the way is foul back. Looking at the Cardinal lineup, one thing they have really done is moved a couple of people around. You know, they had an extra infielder, Tyler Green, and they sent him to Houston. And they really could use him now. So they've had to mix and match. They've played Carpenter at second base, at third base, in right field. Today, among others, they have Pete Kozma playing shortstop, and they have Schumacher at second base. Here's the strike two pitch coming up to Alan Craig. Instead of bluff, as Fife turns and just looks. 1 out, 2 on. First inning, no score. Dodgers and Cardinals, a tremendous rivalry down through the years, but it will be tough to rival the finish of last night's game, although These two have put on such great shows throughout the years. 0-2 the count. The pitch to Craig is high. 1-2 the count. Allen is 6'2" and checks in at 215. So the right-hander Stephen Fife working on Craig. 2 on, 1 out, first inning, no score. Comfortable 86 degrees. Fife straightens up. They've been looking at Beltran a lot, and there's a drive down the left field line, carrying towards the box seats. Short hops the wall. 1 run will score. They will stop Holliday at third on a long double by Allen Craig, and he does it again. A long double and another run batted in for him. As we mentioned, he is dynamite with runners in scoring position. He got what looked like a pretty good curveball and short hopped the left field box seats. So Craig doubles Holliday to third, gets Beltran home, and the Cardinals are on the board. And they now have Yadier Molina. Cardinals scored 2 runs in the first inning last night. They scored 2 runs in the second inning of the second game. They scored 1 run in the second inning of the first game. So they have scored early against the Dodgers in every game. Here's Molina, and Yadier swings, fouls it away, 0-1 the count. Molina involved in a huge play last night. Remember when he hit the ball over Matt Kemp's head, Kemp crashing into the pads, went down, recovered. Molina with the ball hit ahead of him, so he should have known, and he did. As he said after the game, I knew it was going to have to take a great throw to get me. Molina pulls away from a pitch that almost hits his legs. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Matt made the great throw. Molina cut down at third base, and that could have changed the game completely, and as it turned out, really did. Instead of the Cardinals possibly scoring a 4th run, they lost 4-3. 1-1 the count to Molina. He has 66 runs batted in and 19 home runs. The Cardinals, before the end of the season, might have 5 men in the starting lineup with at least 20 home runs. So they have a great offense. The 1-1 pitch, Fife ready, and it is swung on and missed. 1-2 to count. You have Beltran with 29. You have Craig with 21. You have Holliday with 27. And then right on the edge, you have Molina with 19, and infielder David Freese has 19. So 5 guys with 20 or more. They are big birds. 1-2 the count to Molina. Second and third, 1 out. Fife trying to get tougher here in a tough spot. Fife set, checks the runners. Here he comes, and it's in the dirt, going all the way to the backstop. Scoring easily is Holliday. Taking third is Craig, and the Cardinals are on the board 2-0. So Fife, who gave up the curveball, that low breaking ball that Craig doubled, this time he bounced the curveball, and on the wild pitch, Holliday comes in, and Craig now is at third, and it is 2-0 in favor of the Cardinals. With 1 out, the infield now has to play up. So you take a good hitter like Molina, who is hitting .321, you play the infield up, and that makes it even tougher. The next pitch is down and dirty, blocked by Trainer, and 3-2 the count. After today, the Dodgers will not play until Tuesday night in Washington. Don Mattingly was saying A.J. Ellis looked a bit weary. So Matt catches today, and Ellis has tomorrow the off day off until Tuesday night. 3-2 pitch coming up. It is low and away on a check swing, and ball 4. And that will bring up David Freese. So Fife really struggling here. He's given up a walk, a hit batter, a single and a double, and 2 runs. David Freese, so close to 20 home runs, hitting .293, and of course had the series of his life last year when he was the most valuable player in the World Series. Freese multi-talented and continues to have another big leap, hitting .293 with 19 home runs. and a chance to pick up at least another. He has Alan Craig at third, Yadier Molina at first. Freese, right-hand batter, checks in. The interesting thing about David Freese in the World Series last year, he swings, doesn't get it. Freese spent every home game right on an olive sofa in a tiny spare room of a college buddy's apartment. Not exactly the trappings of what you would expect for the MVP. Strike one pitch for David. Fife ready and deals, and it's foul back. He got jammed. Pretty good fastball. 0-2. David Freese, 6'2", 220, 29 years old, out of Corpus Christi, Texas, but he went to the University of South Alabama as a catcher. So the right-hand hitter, first and third, still one out, 2-0 Cardinals. Fife from a stretch, checks the runners, comes to his hitter high and away. 1-2 the count. If you joined us late, John Jay struck out, Beltran singled to left, Holiday hit by a pitch, Craig doubled in Beltran with Holiday stopping at third. Wild pitch scored Holiday, and then Molina walked. So the 1-2 pitch is taken low and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Stephen Fife, drafted by the Red Sox back in 2008, went to the University of Utah in a very tough assignment in a rather pivotal game. 2 balls and 2 strikes to David Freese. Right-hander ready and delivers. It's poked foul as Freese, trying to cover the whole plate, might have swung at ball 3, but he couldn't afford to take it. It was that close. So in order to even get a piece of the ball, he had to stumble across home plate. Freese sprained an ankle, or at least he twisted it a week ago. He didn't start in Thursday's game. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up, and Fife delivers way inside, ball 3. 3-2. So another huge pitch for Fife. Skip Schumacher is on deck. Matt Trainer trying to help, walks out in front of the plate, telling Fife, take it easy, settle down. Meanwhile, Freese out of the box for the moment, and now they hook up. Meanwhile, Clayton Kershaw has to be dying inside. 3-2 the count. There goes the runner. The pitch is swung on and missed. Down to second base goes Molina. We were looking at Matt Trainer. I think Matt forgot. I think Matt thought that was the third out, and he just walked away from home plate while the runner was going. So you can see him walking off if you're watching on television. And, of course, that's bad news for the catcher, an embarrassing moment for the veteran. So Freese strikes out. 2 out. Runners at first and third. Looking on, of course, A.J. Ellis. So here's Schumacher, left-hand batter. Runners at second and third. Fife ready and delivers, and the first pitch in for a strike, 0-1. Molina will be credited with a stolen base. No way to charge Matt Trainer with an error. It certainly was a mental error. 0-1 the count. So Craig and Molina take their leads. Fife trying to get out of the inning. And the pitch to Schumacher is high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pete Kozma, the shortstop, is on deck, the number 8 hitter. Today, by the way, Hispanic Heritage Family Day, 2012. So we've had a rather festive atmosphere long before the game. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fife straddles the rubber, calling for time. He wants to talk to Trainer. So timeout. So in the inning, Beltran singled, Holiday hit by a pitch. Craig doubled in Beltran. Holiday scored on a wild pitch. Molina walked and is given credit for a stolen base when Matt Trainer forgot, thinking there were 2 outs. And Schumacher up there on a 1 ball, 1 strike count. So Fife working hard and trying to get out of the inning cheaply enough. Craig down the line from third. Molina away from second with 2 out. And the 1-1 pitch. And that's a breaking ball low. Ball 2. 2-1. For Fife, he is struggling here. This will be his 29th pitch here in the first inning, and Schumacher making him work. 2-1 to Skip. Again, Fife out of his stretch, looks at the runners, right-handed delivers, and it's fouled away. And the count 2-2. Two-seam fastball is a bread and butter pitch for Stephen Fife. When that's working, he gets a lot of ground balls. He also has a curve, slider, and change. Fife looks to get the sign, as we mentioned earlier, 25 years old. He'll be 26 in October. And the 2-2 pitch on the way. Fife making a big pitch with first base open, and it's way outside. Ball 3. 3-2. So a moment of truth for the young right-hander. Down in the Dodger bullpen, John Eli begins to warm up. 3-2 with runners at second and third. Cardinals lead 2-0. Fife out of his stretch. Right-handed delivers, and it's strike 3 call on what Schumacher thought was ball 4. Schumacher slings the hat, the helmet, the bat, and storms up along first base. Big pitch that appeared outside, but that'll be that. And the Cardinals growling at Dana DeMuth, and at the end of half an inning, 2-0 St. Louis. Fortunate they didn't get more, with both Freese and Schumacher striking out, leaving runners at second and third. Here's the Dodger batting order. Shane Victorino leads off today. Andre Ethier hits second, and then Matt Kemp and Adrian Gonzalez. Hanley Ramirez hits behind Gonzalez. Luis Cruz at third base. Mark Ellis at second. Matt Trainer behind the plate, and Stephen Fife, the pitcher. On the mound, the general, as we call him, Adam Wainwright. He had Tommy John surgery last year. He was second to Roy Halladay in the Cy Young Award in 2010. In fact, in 2009, he was third in the Cy Young Award. Adam is 6'7", 225. 2 years ago, he was a 20-game winner, missing all of last year because of the surgery. And at 13-13, throws a strike to Shane Victorino. So Victorino trying to lead the Dodgers back, hitting .255, 10 home runs, 51 runs batted in. Wainwright's strike one pitch is hit in the air down the right field line. A long run by Beltran, and he finally gets there to make the catch. So Victorino, a fly ball to right, one away. We have great respect. We have tremendous respect for anyone who ever served our country. And, of course, we have great respect for a former general, the late Jonathan Mayhew Wainwright IV. He is from the state of Washington. And if you are old enough, I'm sure you remember the names Bataan and Corregidor. They were both in the Philippines during World War II. Huge battles there, our troops, British troops against the Japanese. Wainwright ready, works to Andre Ethier and gets a strike. When General MacArthur was ordered to leave the Philippines, the beleaguered Philippines, Jonathan Wainwright became the general. The strike one pitch on the way, and that's low, 1-1. And there was the death march of Bataan, something like 70,000 dying. And eventually those who made the march were imprisoned, including General Wainwright. The 1-1 pitch, and that's a little low ball too. He was in the Japanese prison for over 3 years. And when he finally came out, the government awarded him with the Medal of Honor. And the name Wainwright has always had a special part in our hearts. Line drive, a great diving catch. Well, now they're going to call the catch off and say the ball was foul, I think. Yep. The first base umpire, Doug Eddings, first called out, then suddenly looked and said, no, call it off. It was a foul ball. But now, even if it was a foul ball, you think the catch was made, and we're going to have a bit of a rhubarb. Cardinals already angry at Dana DeMuth over the pitches to Schumacher. We can take another look. It's a blur, a diving apparent catch, and Eddings immediately indicated out. Then he took the play off. Mike Matheny is talking to Dana DeMuth, the plate umpire. Dana DeMuth, of course, has been umpiring a long time, 29 years. So the veteran, along with Eddings, get together and smooth it over, and Andre Ethier is still at the plate. So the Cardinals are already in a bitter mood. They left runners at second and third. They think they got a bad call by DeMuth on the pitch to Schumacher. They're still leading 2-0, but they're really not that happy about it. And Ethier back up. 2-2 the count to Andre. Adam Wainwright works from the first base side of the rubber. Looks like John Wayne at high noon if you're behind the plate looking out at him. Just holding the ball right at the belt, staring in at the hitter. And at 6'7", a rather imposing figure. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way to Ethier, swung on and fouled the other way off third out of play. Those who know those things, former pitchers watching Adam, who has just come back, they say he has changed from the 20-game winner he was before the Tommy John surgery. He doesn't spot that fastball as well as he did, throwing a lot of cutters and breaking balls, and he just throws a breaking ball and misses. 3-2. If he's going to throw a cutter, you expect it to be to a left-hand hitter. So Adam Wainwright, 28 years old, out of Brunswick, Georgia, lives in St. Simon's Island. He has Matt Kemp waiting on deck. Wainwright into the windup. 3-2 pitch on the way. Ground ball to short. Cosma is up with it. Makes the throw in time. So they get Ethier. Should we say for a second time? And the batter is Matt Kemp.
Number 27, Matt Kemp.
Matt Kemp, who made the play of his career last night, crashing into the center field wall, recovering, chasing the ball, picking it up, and making a 1 in a million throw to third base to nail Yadier Molina. Matt hitting .304. Molina, no doubt, going over that play in his mind for a good portion of the late evening. Matt has not had any success with Wainwright. 2 for 21. Grounds one to third. Freeze is on it. The long, accurate throw, and that's the inning. So the Dodgers go 1-2-3, and at the end of an inning, as Wainwright walks off, Cardinals 2, Dodgers nothing. The Cardinals, it could have been a heck of a lot better, and for the Dodgers, it could have been a heck lot worse. With second and third, the Cardinals had Freeze and Schumacher, and they were both out on strikes, so the Dodgers got out of that first inning cheaply enough. Stephen Fife made 30 pitches in the first inning. The veteran Wainwright made only 10, and into the second inning we go. It'll be Pete Kozma, then Adam Wainwright, and John Jay. First pitch on the inside corner for a strike, and the count 0-1. Pete Kozma, a very good infielder, and doing pretty well with the bat, hitting .318, but it's not like he's been in a lot of games. 7 for 22, hits a little foul off to the right, out of play, and the count 0-2. As we mentioned earlier, there have been a lot of movement in the infield and outfield with the Cardinals. Matt Carpenter right now leaning on the railing is a spectator, but he figures to get in the game. 0-2 to Pete Kozma, and that's off the plate. 1-2 the count. 2-0 in favor of the Cardinals. We'll keep track of the other wild card contestants. Pete, by the way, is from Camarillo. Went to Cal State Fullerton. 25 years old, and the pitch missing, and the count 1-2. Kozma was the top offensive player for Cal State Fullerton 4 years ago. Then the Brewers signed him, and eventually, coming up to the minor leagues, he hooks on with the Cardinals. The 2-2 pitch on the way in there. Called strike 3. So what's happened to Fife? He has 4 strikeouts because with all the scrambling in the first inning, he struck out the side, and Cosma, one of those deer in the headlights looked at a perfect strike and walks away. 3 consecutive strikeouts for Fife, and the batter is Adam Wainwright. Well, everybody looked and said the Phillies have it made. They're playing the Astros while the Dodgers are playing the Cardinals. But baseball is such a great game, you just can't figure it out. Adam Wainwright swings and misses. Here you have Roy Halladay pitching for the Phillies against the Astros. Phillies leading, and now in the bottom of the 7th inning, the Astros lead the Phillies 7-4 as Wainwright swings and misses 0-2. Justin Maxwell had a bloop double, knocking in the tying and go-ahead runs in the 7th. So the Astros lead 7-4 in the 7th as Wainwright strikes out. So that's 4 consecutive strikeouts for Fife and 5 strikeouts in the game. And we're only in the 2nd inning. And Stephen working now on John Jay. The Brewers, and they started 2.5 games back in the wild card. The Brewers beat the Mets 3-0. The Pirates are 2 games back, and they're leading the Cubs 6-5 in the 6th inning. But of all the experts figured, look out for Philadelphia. Roy Halladay, Cole Hamels, Cliff Lee, etc. And they're not doing what the people thought they would do. The first pitch to Jay misses, ball 1. 1-0 the count. John struck out in the first inning. Fife from a stretch, comes right back and drops it low and inside. 2-0 the count. John Jay, 4 home runs, 31 runs batted in. 300 hitter. Cardinals are loaded with them. Back comes Fife, and it's fouled away. 2-1. Jay, fleet-footed center fielder, came within inches of catching that double by Luis Cruz last night. So near and yet so far. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that swung on and missed, and the count 2-2. Joey Jay was a pitcher in the major leagues, and that name was imprinted for years. John Jay, no relation. John's from Miami, went to the university down there. He fouls one away, and the count stays 2-2. John is 27 years old, second team All-American, played on Team USA 7 years ago. 2 out, 2nd inning, 2-0 in favor of the Cardinals. Fife ready, delivers, and it is low, swung on and missed. Down goes John Jay, and so 2 consecutive innings he strikes out the side. He's got a half a dozen strikeouts in 2 innings, but the Cardinals still lead 2-0. Cardinals leading the Dodgers 2-0. Adrian Gonzalez, Hanley Ramirez, and Luis Cruz in that order against the gunslinger, because that's exactly what he looks like, with Adam Wainwright looking down the barrel from the mound. Adrian hitting .247. He takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Gonzalez 1 home run, 16 runs batted in. Wainwright into his windup. Back he comes. Breaking ball, but it stayed outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Adrian, we were talking about Alan Craig, and Gonzalez certainly answers Craig as far as hitting with runners in scoring position. He takes inside 2-1. Gonzalez hitting .397 with runners in scoring position. That would make him second to Craig. The pitch is fouled upstairs off to the left, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cardinals in the first inning. Beltran singled. Halladay hit by a pitch. Craig doubled in Beltran. Wild pitch got Halladay home. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming on. Adrian tries to time a breaking ball, hits it in the hole, and Schumacher on the grass throws him out. one away. The other note in the first 2 innings, in case you might be just joining us, Stephen Fife has struck out 6. In other words, all the outs in the first 2 innings, Fife has racked them up. So Fife sitting in the shadows trying to cool off in the dugout. Had a shaky first inning, but appears to certainly have settled down. 1 out. Here's Hanley Ramirez. 24 home runs, 86 runs batted in. First pitch from Wainwright is low. 1 ball and no strikes. Hanley, 24 home runs to go with a .251 batting average. Wainwright has been given a lot of run support. There's going to be a line drive base hit into left field. Hanley was all over that pitch. So a 1-out single to left will bring up Luis Cruz, and we'll hear the chant for Luis, who answered it last night with that clutch double. Cruz coming up. The notes on Wainwright, among other things, he's been getting almost 5 runs a game. He's basically a ground ball pitcher, and so far we've had 3 ground ball outs, 3 of the 4. So if he's on his game, that's what you're going to see. You also see a lot of first ball swinging by the opposition as Ramirez takes his lead. 1 out, second inning, 2-0 St. Louis. Fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Adam Wainwright has allowed 13 home runs in 181 innings. So the right-hander at 6'7", an imposing figure, looking down to Molina. The strike 1 pitch is inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. For Wainwright, it doesn't appear to be making a difference whether you're a right-hand hitter or a left-hand hitter. Right-handers are hitting .262. Left-handers are hitting .262. Ramirez off the bag at first. A look by Wainwright. Adam back to the plate. This is a little low, and a 2-1 count. Cruz has a look now in a manager's count to see if there's a play on. Another thing about Wainwright, he pitches better at home than on the road. And of course, if you compare this year to 2 years ago, it's almost not fair. 2 years ago, he was a 20-game winner. Back he comes, and it's fouled away off to the right out of play. So Adam Wainwright has made a remarkable recovery, having had the Tommy John surgery last year. He is already involved in 26 decisions. But if you compare him to 2 years ago, at home this year, ERA almost 4. 2 years ago, 1.7. This year on the road, 4.2. 2 years ago, 3. So he is a different pitcher. And as we mentioned, those who really know say that he doesn't spot that fastball the way he used to, and throws more curves and cutters. Another thing that has happened to Wainwright, it might be part fatigue, but the hitters start to hit him harder as they get through the lineup. The next one to Cruz is swung on and missed. Looked like a change inside, and Luis strikes out. When the first time that Adam goes through the lineup, the opposition is hitting .213. The second time he goes through the lineup, the opposition is hitting .256. And if he's still around for the third time through the lineup, they are hitting .342. So 2 down, Ramirez at first. Mark Ellis, who had been up top of the lineup, has dropped down now to hitting 7th. Matt Trainer hitting back of him, and Ellis way out in front, and the count 0-1. The combination of Wainwright and Molina would seem to be a very tough combination if you're thinking about stealing bases. In his career, the success percentage 59%. Strike 1 pitch, and that's low. If you want to talk specifically about Hanley Ramirez, he has stolen 17 out of 24. 1-1 the count to Mark Ellis. Schumacher plays him up the middle, way over to the right. So with a first baseman on the bag, pretty good hole on the right side. Ellis hesitates, take a little breaking ball on the inside corner for a strike, and the count 1-2. 2 out, bottom of the second. Cardinals lead 2-0. Despite the fact young Stephen Fife has struck out everybody, in other words, 6 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. 1-2 pitch down and away, backhanded by Molina in the dirt, so they'll put a new ball in play. For the Dodgers, a reminder, 6 home games left. That's right, 6. 3 with Colorado, 3 with San Francisco. The Dodgers' next series, Washington, Cincinnati, San Diego, 9 road games. The pitch now to Ellis is lifted into shallow center. A trio of Cardinals. John Jay has the easiest play, and the center fielder makes the catch. No runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of 2, it remains 2-0 St. Louis. Box score, he struck out John Jay. Later on, he got David Freese, and for good measure, he got Skip Schumacher. Then Cosmo, followed by Wainwright and John Jay. So for Stephen Fife, 2 innings, he's given up 2 runs, and he has struck out 6. He'll now face Beltran, Holliday, and Craig a second time. And Beltran started his troubles when he hit a line drive single to left field. Beltran hitting .267, 29 home runs, 87 runs batted in, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. One of the real stars in the game, and boy, he has had some marvelous years. Extremely talented. He takes off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. Beltran is 6'1", 205-pounder. He is 35 years old now, out of Puerto Rico. The 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on, fouled off, 1-2. Tommy Lasorda told me a nice story about Beltran. He said that Beltran built a school, an entire school. It cost him over $3 million of his own money, but he did it for the impoverished children in Puerto Rico. So that will give you some idea of what kind of a guy he is. It's a little ground ball to Adrian Gonzalez. End of that story. 1 away. That'll bring up Matt Holliday, who was hit on the shoulder in the first inning, went to third on a double by Alan Craig, and came home on a wild pitch. Holliday hitting .299, 27 home runs. When he was with the Rockies, he hit 36, and there were some people, I'm sure, who felt, well, sure, 36 home runs in the rarefied air. Wait till he gets back down in sea level. But he has continued to be a solid hitter as he fouls a pitch away. 0-1 to count. Matt, of course, will always be remembered by those who saw it of that monstrous home run he hit over the back wall of the Dodger bullpen. That was estimated at 481. He hit one earlier this year on the road. They said about 464. He takes under the hands. 1 ball and 1 strike to Matt Holliday. Those are the 3 sisters at the wall in the bullpen, and his home run sailed out amongst them. That was 6 years ago. 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Holliday was also the batting champion 5 years, back in 2007, when he hit a very solid .340. 1-2 to Matt Holliday. Matt's 32 now. Swings, and it's a soft line drive to Gonzalez. Line drive may be describing the trajectory, but it was not hit hard. You know, next year's preliminary schedule has been released. It's now available online. It's highlighted by opening day with the Giants, great interleague opponents, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Angels. season and mini plan packages will be available soon. So to learn more, be sure to visit Dodgers.com/season tickets. 2 out. Here's Alan Craig. 81 runs batted in. He's as tough as they come with runners in scoring position. 0-1 the count. Craig hitting .309, has a 10-game hitting streak, had a 13-game streak in his past. The strike one pitch on the way, swung on, high fly ball but playable. Kemp moving to left center and fights the sun to make the catch. Just as he was ready to catch, he almost turned his back on the ball. It's not an angel up there. Brilliant blue, and down go the Cardinals. At the end of 2.5, they lead 2-0. Nothing in favor of St. Louis. We go to the bottom of the third. Matt Trainer followed by Stephen Fife and then Shane Victorino. 2 runs, 2 hits for the Cardinals. A hit batter, a wild pitch helped for them to pick up the 2. Wainwright delivers and the pitch swung on and fouled back, and the count 0-1. They have a lovely moment here at Dodger Stadium for every game, saluting the veteran of the game. They invite someone who has served our country, and he stands on the field for a brief moment to get a round of applause. 0-1 the count. Wainwright works away 1-1. And of course, for those of us who certainly remember World War II, that's one reason why we bring up General Jonathan Wainwright. We just don't want those names to be lost in the sands and dust of history. The next pitch in for a strike. 1-2, and Trainer's a little annoyed. I know as a kid and then reading about it later, just hearing the words Bataan and Corregidor. The 1-2 pitch on the way, a little high. 2-2 the count to Matt Trainer. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. Trainer, Fife, and Victorino. Wainwright into the windup, comes right back low and inside, and he goes all the way to Trainer. 3-2. Dodgers with 1 hit, a line drive single to left by Hanley Ramirez. Waiting on deck, Stephen Fife, and the 3-2 pitch coming up to Matt Trainer is taken for ball 4. So Trainer's aboard, Stephen Fife coming up, and the first thing we do is check in his limited time, has he had a sacrifice? And the answer is no, not yet. But you would certainly expect that he'll be bunting now. So Trainer held on at first by Alan Craig. We're in the third. Cardinals lead 2-0. Fife looking as if he's going to hit. Chances are he's going to be trying to bunt. Now he shows bunt. Tries to bunt, gets it down. It's on the chalk, and the out's recorded. The question is, I think Molina could have waited a little bit longer, and I think that ball might have gone foul, but that's from looking very comfortably up here. If you're Molina, the great catcher, it's another story. So he decided not to gamble, to get Fife, and the sacrifice works. So now you have Victorino at second base. Stephen Fife hits 5s in the dugout. Victorino flied to right field in the first inning. Shane, a switch hitter, as you know, hitting .288 right, .220 left. Wainwright out of a stretch, looks back at a runner at second, now works his man, and the pitch high and away, ball 1. Two nothing St. Louis. Dodgers trying to scratch back here with Victorino at the plate, Ethier on deck, and Trainer at second base. Next one in for a strike, and the count 1-1. Wainwright again out of a stretch. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Veteran right-hander comes over the top. Breaking ball squirted up along first. Wainwright feeds his man Craig. Down to third goes Trainer. And with 2 out, the batter will be Andre Ethier. Andre Ethier and Adam Wainwright. We'll check that. Ethier grounded out in the first inning. He hit a line drive. Alan Craig made a diving catch, apparently catching the ball as it hit the ground. First called out by the first base umpire, Doug Eddings. Then the call was taken off that it was a foul ball. And then Ethier went back up to hit and grounded out. Andre Ethier came into the game with 2 home runs against Wainwright, hitting .296 against him. So runner at third with 2 out. Wainwright from a stretch and works it low and inside. Good save by Molina. With the runner at third, we check as far as wild pitches, and the answer is Wainwright has 4. With Jaime Garcia, who pitched the other night, has 9. 1 ball and no strikes to Ethier. Outfield fanned out straight away. Wainwright comes back and misses low and away. On deck, Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp grounded out in the first inning. He has 2 hits in 22 at-bats against Wainwright. 2-0 the count. Andre, is hitting if he likes the location. Wainwright staring over at third at Trainer, and the pitch is swung on a high drive into deep right field. She is gone, and the game is tied 2-2. Andre Ethier hits his 3rd home run against Adam Wainwright. It gives him 19 home runs for the year. And just like that, the Dodgers have caught the Cardinals. 2-2 in the 3rd inning. Andre Ethier now has 84 runs batted in. Matt Kemp takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Kemp followed by Adrian Gonzalez. 2-2 in the 3rd. Wainwright ready. Here he comes. Another fastball, another strike. That home run, the 14th home run that Wainwright has allowed. So they're even at 2 in their final meeting of the year. And the strike 2 pitch on the way, waved at. That's going to be strike 3. And down goes Matt Kemp. So Kemp, who struck out 3 times last night, called out on a check swing. But Andre Ethier didn't have a check swing on a 2-0 pitch, and we have a 2-2 tie. Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October 5 with the wild card on TBS. Andre Ethier hits his 3rd home run against Adam Wainwright, his 19th home run of the year on a 2-0 pitch, and the Dodgers have caught the Cardinals 2-2 as we go to the 4th inning. Molina, Freese, and Schumacher. A strike to Yadier. Hitting .321, 19 home runs, 66 runs batted in. Lots going on the scoreboard involving the wild card. The pitch on the corner. Molina in a hole now, 0-2. Don Mattingly having his ball club hanging tough with a very tough schedule up ahead. Washington, Cincinnati, and San Diego. Molina fouls it away. Here's what's going on. The Brewers beat the Mets 3-0. The Pirates are beating the Cubs 9-6. They're in the 6th inning. The Astros are leading the Phillies. It was 7-3, 7-4. Now it's 7-6 in the 8th inning. And a high drive to right, but Ethier's at the other end of it. One away. So when you look at the wild card, as we showed you just a moment ago, Pittsburgh trailing by 2, they're winning. Milwaukee trailing by 2.5, they're winning. And Philadelphia losing, trailing by 3. So just imagine what it would be like if we didn't have a wild card. The National League races would long have been over. That's a strike to Freese, who struck out his first at bat. You know, Washington leading Atlanta by 6.5. Cincinnati leads the Cardinals by 11. Giants 7.5 in front of the Dodgers. There wouldn't be any excitement at all. Little roller that's going to go foul, and Freese will come back, try it again. So the first wild card was highly disputed at the time, and then they realized, you know what? That keeps the interest alive in a lot of other cities. Now with a second wild card, that means so many teams, so many cities have a shot. And 5 times in the last 17 years, the wild card has won the World Series. And of course, all you have to do is look over at the Cardinals and you understand. There's a line one hopper that exploded by Mark Ellis. So Freese, a hard single to right, and the batter will be Schumacher.
Second baseman, number 55.
As we mentioned, the Cardinals have to be angry at themselves. In the first inning, they had runners at second and third, 1 out, 2 runs in. John Eli was throwing in the bullpen, and Fife was questionable as to whether he'd make it through the first inning. And then he struck out Freese, and he struck out Schumacher. So a 1-out single by Freese, and here's Skip, hitting .287. Schumacher, a basic outfielder, converted to play the infield. That's what the Cardinals have had to do, and there are those in St. Louis who second-guessed the move that sent Tyler Green away. Skip is from Torrance, went to school at Loyola Marymount, then transferred to the University of California, Santa Barbara. And a strike. Skip now lives in Laguna Niguel. Plays second base or the outfield. 5'10", about 190. And 32 years old. Cardinals signed him almost 12 years ago. First came up in 2005. 1-1 the count. Skip Schumacher helped Team USA win the Olympic qualifying tournament, beating Cuba in front of over 45,000 fans in Havana. 1 ball and 1 strike. Schumacher can play the outfield because he has an outfielder's arm. In fact, Skip, when he was in college, did some pitching, and he was clocked anywhere from 92 to 94. 1-1. Ball 2, 2-1. Skip's mom still works as a teacher's aide with autistic children. Two balls and 1 strike. First name is really Jared, J-A-R-E-D, but everybody calls him Skip. And he hits one in the air down the left field line, slicing. Here comes Victorino and makes the catch. Great play by Shane. Getting back to first base, David Freese. Victorino, with a left-hand batter up, had to travel overnight. And right at the wall, reaches and makes the catch. Wonderful play by Shane Victorino, but of course you watch him during the course of a year. He makes a lot of dandies. The biggest one I think he's made so far this year was in Arizona. when he crashed into the left field wall, made a super catch, and then had the presence of mind and the ability to throw the ball to Ramirez. And then Ramirez threw to first, and he doubled up Miguel Montero. In fact, talking about Hanley, he turned and applauded Victorino from his shortstop position. Kozma hits one in the air to the gap in right center. It's slicing, room service, and it's caught by Ethier. If the ball doesn't slice, that's going to go to the wall. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. At the end of 3 1/2, a 2-2 tie. 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Adrian Gonzalez, Hanley Ramirez, and then Luis Cruz. Adam Wainwright has made 44 pitches. Had a very easy first inning, making only 10. Adrian Gonzalez grounded out in the 2nd inning to Skip Schumacher. And here we go. That's a strike. 0-1 the count. Little slider missing. 1-1 the count. Adrian has 1 home run. You remember his very first at bat. 16 runs batted in. That's off the plate. Two and one. Fastball, good sinker, 2-2. When you look at Adam Wainwright, you know how tough he is. When you look at some of the hitters, he's completely shut down. Justin Upton in Arizona is 0 for 10 against him. Joey Votto is 1 for 17. Foul ball. And Carlos Lee 3 for 29. Adam Wainwright working on Adrian Gonzalez. 2-2, bottom of the 4th. And a high pop fly at short. Let's see who it'll be. Kozma. So Gonzalez pops it up, 1 away. And the batter will be Hanley Ramirez. We were talking with one of our favorite characters in this game. He was a terrific player, and he's now a fine broadcaster for the St. Louis Cardinals. Famous name certainly in St. Louis, Mike Shannon. Shannon caught, played the outfield, very valuable, big, strong guy. Spent a lot of time with Stan Musial. He takes ball 1. But he was talking about his conversation he had with Henry Aaron. And you know how great Henry Aaron was. 1 ball and no strikes. And he was saying that the Cardinals had a left-hand pitcher, and there's Mike. Cardinals had a left-hand pitcher named Curt Simmons. The old-timers would remember Curt, especially with the Philadelphia Phillies. They had that great 1-2 punch. Robin Roberts, Curt Simmons. Talking about pitchers dominating hitters. Curt Simmons, a soft-throwing left-hander, absolutely threw a bag over Henry Aaron. I mean, Henry Aaron could not buy a hit against Simmons, who almost drove him crazy. And Mike was saying that Aaron would come up, Simmons would throw a certain pitch in a certain area. Aaron would hit such a little pop fly that the catcher wouldn't even take his mask off. And it happened time and time again, and Aaron would go back to the dugout just fit to be tied. Just like Gonzalez after he popped up, just like Ramirez after he strikes out.
Third baseman, number 47, Luis Cruz.
So once in a while, you'll find a pitcher dominating some wonderful hitters, and that's Wainwright against Carlos Lee, Joey Votto, and Justin Upton. Here's Cruz, struck out in the 2nd inning. Oh and 1 the count. They're in the 9th inning with the Astros trying to hold on to a 7-6 victory against Philadelphia. That's a line drive base hit. Over to get it is Holiday. Cruz hits the bag and holds on with the single. So a 2-out single will bring up Mark Ellis. In that Phillies-Astros game, Carlos Ruiz, the great catcher for the Phillies, while Luis Ruiz was at the plate up here. Carlos Ruiz, with the tying run at second and a go-ahead run at first, grounds out, and the Astros beat the Phillies 7-6. And so maybe they're not as soft as people thought. Everyone looked at the Cardinals schedule and said they've got a lock. They have 6 games with the Astros. Well, tell that to Philadelphia. 0-1 the count. 1-1. When they finish here, the Cardinals will go home and play Houston for 3. Then they go on the road and play Chicago 3 and Houston 3 more. Then the last week of the season, the Cardinals have it very tough. That's foul back. The last week of the season, while the Dodgers are playing Colorado and San Francisco, the Cardinals will be playing Washington and Cincinnati, the 2 best teams in the league, excluding San Francisco. So there's no easy way. One of these clubs will sweat and scratch and claw and wind up being the second wild card, but there's no way to figure it right now. Breaking ball, 2-2. Ellis fly to center in the second inning. Two tie here in the fourth. Andre Ethier got it tied with a 2-run home run in the third. His 3rd home run in his career against Wainwright. 2-2. And there's that slider down and away, and Ellis angry at himself for chasing it. No runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of 4, a 2-2 tie. Until I'm at least an old man, I know I could pitch another year, but if the arm closes up anymore, I wouldn't be able to play golf. So he hung it up. Adam Wainwright, who struck out in the second inning, 0 for 1. Adam, 3 straight innings, made 17 pitches. Talk about being consistent. So he's made a total of 61 pitches while on the mound. Stephen Fife, after a shaky first inning, has really settled down. He's allowed just 1 hit since Craig doubled in the first inning. Adam Wainwright, you can just imagine, he grew up in Brunswick, Georgia, and even as a little guy, he was a big Atlanta Braves fan. He said there were only 2 things on television, the Dukes of Hazzard and the Braves. He grew up watching either while having breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And he would walk around the house proudly wearing the Braves uniform number 3 for the great Dale Murphy. That's strike 3. Adam can't quite believe it, but he will slowly give ground. That will be the 7th strikeout, but the first one since the second inning. You know, Saturday the 29th, La Gran Fiesta, Viva Los Dodgers. There'll be live music, food, autographs, games, and more. La Gran Fiesta is free with your tickets to the game with the Rockies, and it'll start 4 hours prior to game time. Brought to you by Coca-Cola, Hyundai, and Time Warner Cable. Want to know more? Visit Dodgers.com/Viva. Ball 1 to John Jay, who has struck out twice. 1 ball and no strikes. Jay hitting .307. Hit fouled. 1-1 the count. If somehow you joined us late, in the first inning, Beltran singled. Holiday hit by a pitch. Craig doubled home Beltran. and then Molina walked to load the bases. But Freese struck out and Schumacher struck out, and Fife was off the hook. He's allowed just one hit since, and he has struck out 7 to go with the hit batter and the walk. Two and one. And that's going to go foul by about a foot. 2-2. The Dodger runs came quickly. Matt Trainer walked, sacrificed to second, took third on a comebacker. Ethier came up, and it was interesting. Ethier had 2 home runs. He was hitting .296 against Wainwright. On deck, Matt Kemp was 2 for 21 against him. Count went to 2-0. Ethier got the pitch, hit it in the bleachers. 3-2 the count to John Jay. Jay has stolen 17 out of 21. Ground foul. Carlos Beltran waiting on deck. What Fife has done remarkably well, he had a first pitch strike to 15 out of 17 batters. It's a little dangerous because he has had just 1 ground ball. That was Beltran back in the 3rd inning. And that's a strike. So strikeout number 8 for Stephen Fife. And the batter, Beltran. Boy, who would have thunk it? 8 strikeouts from Stephen Fife. In the 5th inning, he struck out the side in the 1st inning, struck out the side in the 2nd inning, and now has struck out 2 more here in the 5th. Fastball strike. Beltran single to left and hit the only ground ball. Ground ball to Adrian Gonzalez was not hit hard. Off the plate, Beltran's base hit, line drive to left field in the 1st inning, and he eventually came around to score. He didn't play last night. He had a stiff back. Ball 2. Matt Holliday waiting on deck. Cardinals have a far better record at home than on the road. They're 14 games above 500 at home. They're 8 games under 500 on the road. The Dodgers are 6 games up at home and flat even on the road. And of course, for Don Mattingly, heading out for Washington, Cincinnati, and San Diego. And there's a clean base hit. It just shows you Beltran. He's such a good hitter, such a natural hitter. You pitch him away, he's single to left field. You give him a ball he can pull, and he singles to right. And he's 35. You can just imagine what kind of a player he was in his 20s, especially if you go back to when he was with the New York Mets. When Carlos Beltran was with the Mets, not only did he win 3 straight Gold Gloves, one year he had 41 home runs and 116 runs batted in. The next year, he came right back, had 33 home runs and 112 runs batted in. So there he is, over 300 home runs, over 300 stolen bases, in a career that began in the American League, where he was the American League Rookie of the Year with Kansas City back in 1998, and he is still going at it and going at it very well. Meanwhile, because of all the strikeouts, Dodgers might be a little concerned, and they want to check Stephen Fife. They have Matt Guerrier throwing in the pen, and big Matt Holliday waiting to come up. And the Dodgers know full well one mistake with Holliday, who has 27 home runs, and it's a whole different ballgame. So Matt Holliday tuning up, waiting for the decision. Rick Honeycutt went out to talk to make sure, and now Rick leaves. So in a moment, it'll be Matt Holliday against Stephen Fife. Holliday hit by a pitch, hit a soft line drive to Adrian Gonzalez in the third inning. Matt, throughout his career, has hit very well against the Dodgers. Wasn't too long ago, I know, he was hitting .350 against them. Fooled on the first pitch, 0-1. Holliday, a great high school quarterback, way back in 1997, out of Stillwater, Oklahoma. I mentioned it once in the series, so since this is the last game, to give you an indication of what kind of a player Matt Holliday is. Last year on April the 1st, he had an appendectomy. April 1st. 9 days later, he scored the winning run in a game. 9 days. (0-2). Holliday won the batting championship in 2007 when he hit a cool .340 and had 36 home runs and 137 runs batted in. You would think the Cardinals have been a very aggressive hitting team. 12 of them have struck out, but not really. Blandon got 5 last night looking, and of the 8 strikeouts today, 4 have been looking. 0-2. Nice block by Matt Trainer. 5th inning, 2 out. Carlos Beltran, years in the past, would probably have stolen second base by now. He does have 13 stolen bases. One and two. In the dirt again. 2-2. Carlos Beltran, to finish the story of what he might have done. He stole as many as 41, 31, 28. Now he'll settle for the 13 or thereabouts. He had 18 with the Giants. 2-2. And down he goes. 9 strikeouts, and that's the 3rd time today that Stephen Fife has struck out the side. And we're still 2-2. Huge difference in the strikeout area. Stephen has struck out 9 to Wainwright's 4. Wainwright has allowed only 3 hits. Interesting, too, that Fife has allowed just 1 ground ball. Wainwright is more of a ground ball pitcher, and he is ball 1 now to Matt Trainer. So Fife kind of cooling off after that big meeting on the mound, and then he cooled off Matt Holliday. Ball 2. We were talking about the fact each team has to play Washington and Cincinnati. The Dodgers are 2-1 against the Reds, and Washington, they are 3-0 against the Nationals. That's going to go fouled out of play. Elian Herrera is out on deck now. Sean Tollison is in the pen. So it looks like they figure that after 87 pitches, that'll be enough for Stephen Fife. Fife cooling off. What a magnificent fill-in he turns out to be. Kershaw couldn't answer the bell. He allows 2 runs and strikes out 9 in 5 innings. No fill-in at all. a great performance. However, after 5, they're going to hit for him. Three and 1. Strike. We gave you the Dodger numbers against Cincinnati and Washington. That involved only games here. 2 and 1 against the Reds, 3 and 0 against Washington. The Cardinals have lost 3 out of 4 to Washington. And ball 4. So when you walk the number 8 hitter, you are asking for trouble, and that's exactly what Wainwright got. He walked Trainer in the 3rd, and with 2 out eventually, Andre Ethier hit the home run. So here is Helion Herrera, who had the thrill of coming home to score last night. Herrera hitting .244, 1 home run, 16 runs batted in, and that will do it for Fife. Barney, as they call him, turns in quite an effort in a very, very tough spot against a tough opponent. And Victorino is on deck. Runner going, missed at the plate, and I mean when it's missed at the plate, Yadier just hung Trainer out. Matt had no chance on a missed hit and run play. It was certainly not a straight steal. They're not trying to run the number 8 hitter, who happens to be a veteran catcher. So he was out from me to you, and just like that, 1 away. Oh and 1 the count to Helion Herrera. Wainwright back to a windup. A change, bunted to 3rd, barehanded by Freese. Throw is too late. So Freese looks like he makes everything correctly, but the Dodger bunter usually beats the play. And Herrera was on the move coming out of the box by the time that ball hit the ground. So it's a bunt single for Helion Herrera following the busted hit and run play. Close, and it goes the Dodger way. Shane Victorino flied to right, hit back to the box. And a strike, 0-1. By the way, we were trying to fill you in with the wild card contenders. The Cubs scored 4 in the 5th, 5 in the 6th. Anthony Rizzo hit a grand slam in the 6th. The Cubs have upended it, and the Cubs are now leading the Pirates 10-9 in the 7th inning. So the poor rising up. Houston beats Philadelphia, and the Cubs trying to give the Pirates a bad time. Milwaukee, they were winning, and they won 3-0. So Milwaukee is the team that could profit today. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. A chopper speared but foul, no play. So with Milwaukee winning their game, Milwaukee was 2.5 games behind. Unless the Pirates recover, Milwaukee will climb over Pittsburgh and get a little bit closer to whoever wins today. 1-2 to count to Shane Victorino. Andre Ethier on deck. Helion Herrera, a bunt single at first. Hit in the air down the left field line, but that's slicing foul out of play. 1-2 to count. Considering the fact it was 103 downtown yesterday, today the temperature at the start of the game 86. There's a light breeze blowing to right, but if you are sitting in the stands, the fans need something to fan. 1-2. Tell you what, they also need a hat and water. Little roller, short hop, and fed to first. So that does it for Victorino. And the batter is Andre Ethier, who got the Dodgers even in the third inning. Ethier with a 2-ball, no-strike count, got a pitch down and hit it into the pavilion with Trainer aboard. Ethier now has 3 home runs in his career against Wainwright. 19 home runs for the season. Matt Kemp on deck. Big difference too. Ethier hitting .300 against Wainwright, and Matt Kemp has 2 hits in 23 at-bats against Wainwright. So we'll see what all of that means. Challenged him with a fastball right away, 0-1. Of course, for Wainwright, his problems have been walking the number 8 hitter. And to do it twice is living dangerously, to say the least. Matt Trainer hitting .168. And Wainwright really pitched him carefully and paid the price. Tried a breaking ball, not much on that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Adam Wainwright, we told you, growing up a Braves fan. He was also, because he's tall, 6'7", he was an all-state kicker and wide receiver in high school, and a very good basketball player. That's a strike. In fact, when he was in middle school, he played basketball on the same court with Kwame Brown. Just to add to it, he was an excellent goalie in soccer. And he's an avid golfer. In fact, his buddy went to the same school, Davis Love III. Off speed, 2-2 the count. Of course, he lives in a great part of the golfing world, St. Simon's Island in Georgia. So 2-2 the count to Andre Ethier. Deuces Wild with a runner at second, and we have a 2-2 score. Ground ball wide of first. Craig is on it, feeds Wainwright, and that's the inning. They leave Herrera, and at the end of 5, a 2-2 tie. But it always rains in Cincinnati, it seems. This particular day, it rained for over 2 hours. 2 hours and 27 minutes to be exact, before they got the game underway. Was it worth the wait? You betcha, for Tom Browning and the Cincinnati Reds. Tom Browning pitched a perfect game. He made 102 pitches, 72 were strikes, and the Dodgers never had a chance. The third great perfect game in history as far as that area is concerned. And Browning, of course, kind of disappeared shortly thereafter. But 1988 was a world championship year for the Dodgers. So let's get back to this one where it is not raining.
Leading up the 6th inning, first baseman number 21, Alan Craig.
Sean Tolleson picks up for Stephen Fife. Fife was magnificent in 5 innings, allowing 2 runs in the first inning, striking out 9. So Tolleson now trying to hold the fort. Here come the Cardinals. Alan Craig, Yadier Molina, David Freese. Wainwright has finished up 5 innings, and he has now made 79 pitches. And Tolleson going to work. Craig doubled in a run and flied to center. 0-1. Alan Craig, 21 home runs, 81 runs batted in. Hits that one foul down the line. 0-2 to Allen. We told you it's very hard for Craig to get RBIs hitting behind Holiday. Holiday has 96 runs batted in, but somehow Craig has 81. I assume he's knocked in Holiday a lot. 0-2. 1-2. Final meeting of the year between the two teams. They played 11. That's a lot for two divisional teams. Dodgers have won 6 of 10. Another high foul that's going to go out of play. To play the Cardinals 11 times is a little interesting because you don't see that happen very often. The last time the Dodgers and Cardinals played 11 games, you have to go back to 1997. 1-2 the count to Alan Craig. And he taps a fastball down to Mark Ellis. 1 out in the 6th inning. Time to get you thinking a little bit. Last year, David Freese became the 6th player ever named MVP in the World Series and LCS. Who are the others? That is sweeping the table for sure. One down, Yadier Molina. Walk, stole a base, fly to right. 0 for 1. And he hits one foul out of play. 0-1. Cardinals left runners at second and third with 1 out in the 1st inning. David Freese struck out. Skip Schumacher struck out. And that's as close as they've scored. They've only had 2 singles and not a runner to second base since. Dodgers, meanwhile, had that 2-run home run by Andre Ethier, but they haven't had a man get to second base outside of that. So it's push against shove. 2-2 in the 6th. 2-1. Molina with 19 home runs. That is truly remarkable when you realize the wear and tear on a catcher through the course of a year. To still be able to swing the bat and swing it well. Molina is hitting .320, and he catches every day. We talked about that 20-inning game where he caught every inning, went 3 for 9. They lost the game 2-1 to the Mets. And he came right back and caught the next day. Yadier Molina. Three and 2. Sometimes it's the batter who makes the pitch close. Previous pitch down and away. He's looking away. Starts to actually go away. And the fastball comes awfully close. 3 and 2. Got him with another good fastball. So Molina strikes out. 10 Cardinals have struck out. And with 2 out, the batter is David Freese. David Freese with 19 home runs. We made that remark earlier. The Cardinals are so close to having 6 men with 20 home runs. They have 4 over 20, and they have 2 at 19. Freese 1 for 2 with Skip Schumacher on deck in a 2-2 tie. 2 out in the 6th. 0-2. when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 6th inning, it'll be Matt Kemp, Adrian Gonzalez, and Hanley Ramirez. Breaking ball, but he wouldn't bite. Freese, 19 home runs, 76 runs batted in. One and two. Pulled on the ground, foul. Bill Freese back up to try it again. David Freese out of Texas. The Cardinals played in 18 World Series. They played 112 World Series games. Only once has a Cardinal hit a walk-off home run in the series, and that was David Freese. Game 6 last year to help win the 11th World Championship in Cardinal history. Boy, did they ever deserve it. Remember the great way they played last year? It started in August on the 25th to be exact. They were 10.5 games behind Atlanta. They went 23-9 and went all the way. And a towering fly ball appears playable. Victorino still on the grass. So Freese a fly ball. The Birds go down 1-2-3, and at the end of 5.5 innings, it's still a 2-2 tie. Run by Andre Ethier, his 3rd home run in his career against Adam Wainwright. Stephen Fife surrendered 2 runs in a very shaky first inning, but wound up striking out 9 in 5 innings. So they take a 2-2 tie into the bottom of the 6th inning. Remember the note we gave you? We were breaking down Adam Wainwright. First time through the lineup, 213. Second time through the lineup, 256. Third time through the lineup, 342. Well, this is his 3rd time through the lineup. Kemp has grounded out and struck out. Wainwright has just made 80 pitches now. Matt Kemp 2 for 23 against him. Grounded out and called out. Breaking ball, 1-1. One ball and 1 strike, Matt. Fastball. Matt backs away. I'm not sure if Matt thought it was a strike or he's mad at himself for taking it. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-2. 2-2. Kemp, Gonzalez, and Ramirez. Two balls, 2 strikes. Adam works from the very edge of the first base side of the rubber. I mean, if ever he reminds you of John Wayne, high noon, and a drive to the gap in right center, and that's going to be to the wall, which means Kemp is not only to second, he thought about third and then holds on at second. So Matt Kemp, the line drive double to right center field. When he was just short of coming to second base, he put on an extra burst, but then he will see that the cutoff is made, and that's when he's going to slow up. So an opening double. And the batter now is Adrian Gonzalez. And so Adam Wainwright, who might remind you of John Wayne or Gary Cooper in high noon, Either way, he's out of that stage. And working to Gonzalez, a line foul. And again, we repeat, for Adam Wainwright, this is the dangerous time, the third time through the lineup. Gonzalez has grounded out, popped up, 0 for 2. 1-1. Waiting on deck, Hanley Ramirez. And a soft one hopper to short. Kozma makes the play. Not much Kemp could do but hold on. So Gonzalez unable to get a ball to pull to get his man over to third. Instead, a one hopper to short, and that'll bring up Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez had a line drive single to left in the second inning and struck out in the fourth. There's some activity now in the Cardinal bullpen. Of course, Mike Matheny knows more about the third time through the lineup than we do. We only know the numbers. Victor Marte begins to throw in the Cardinal pen. Wainwright is also due to bat third when the Cardinals hit in the seventh. That's a strike. 0-1. Randy Choate gets up and begins to warm up. 2-2, bottom of the sixth. Cardinals and Dodgers down through the years have played some magnificent, exciting baseball. They're great games to watch. And we mentioned in that great rivalry going back to 1900, the Dodgers have beaten the Cardinals 2 more. Soft looper to second baseman Schumacher, and that'll do it for Hanley. So now the batter, it always seems like, Luis Cruz. The big guys, the famous names, can't produce. Gonzalez grounds out, Ramirez pops up, and once again they look to Luis. Cruz with that line drive double to right center last night that drove in the tying run. John Jay head first dive but missed it. Sliced foul, 0-1. Cruz 1 for 2, so his batting average is back up to 299. For the last 10 days or so, he'd get up to about 305, then drip under, and then come back up again. Mark Ellis hitting back of him. Two out, sixth inning, 2-2. Matt Kemp at second base. 1-1. In watching Luis Cruz, you have to believe over what's happened to him in the last 2 months. His confidence must be sky high. I mean, he's got to have that feeling nobody can get me out. Little roller, David Freese, bare hand pickup, throw. This time he gets him. So Cruz taps to third. The Dodgers waste the leadoff double. Inability of Gonzalez to get him over to third was really the key to the inning. Another look at Freese, bare hand pickup, good strong throw. So they lead Kemp, and we're still 2-2. Player ever named MVP in the World Series and the League Championship Series. Who are the others? Well, Wilbur Stargell, Darrell Porter, Oral Hershiser, Levon Hernandez, and Cole Hamels. Meanwhile, the Dodgers bring in Randy Choate. and he will face Skip Schumacher. Shane Robinson is going to come up and hit for Schumacher. Shane Robinson appeared as a pinch hitter last night and flied to center. In the first game of the series, Robinson walked and eventually came around to score the winning run in the game the Cardinals won 2-1. Schumacher out of the ball game now. He had struck out and fouled out, and they take the left-hand hitter out for the right-hand batter. Shane hitting .252, 2 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Ball 1. One of the interesting things about the fact Cardinals have struck out 10 times, their hitters have fallen behind 0-2 11 times. So they've been on the defensive ever since the game started. Squirted foul. Adam Wainwright has made 92 pitches, and they have a right-hander throwing in the pen, so they're going to keep an eye on him. That's Trevor Rosenthal. We saw him briefly. Shane Robinson from Tampa went to school at Florida State. And a ground ball to Mark Ellis, who recovers a bobble. 1 away. And the batter now will be Pete Kozma. The luxury of playing second base. You can afford to bobble here and there and still recover. Pete Kozma struck out, fly to right, 0 for 2. Wainwright due up next, and he's coming out of the dugout. He's staying in the game. And now let's see about staying in the game. Here comes Don Mattingly. So Choate is usually a specialist to face 1 or 2 left-hand batters, and then he will give way. So Kozma, right-hand batter, causes Choate to come out, and we'll be right back. DC, Aaron Harang will be going up against Jordan Zimmerman with that great ERA of 3. A 10-game winner against a 9-game winner in game 1 of an extremely important 9-game road trip. 3 in Washington, 3 in Cincinnati, and then 3 in San Diego before coming home playing Colorado and San Francisco. Randy Choate appeared in all 4 games. You get the idea of what kind of a job he has. He made 11 pitches in game 1. He made 11 pitches in game 2. He made 3 pitches in game 3, and he made 3 pitches in game 4. That's Randy Choate. Now here's Jamie Wright. And ball 1. Jamie Wright made 4 pitches last night, 13 pitches the game before. Did not pitch in the first game. Two and 0 the count. So Pete Kozma out of Camarillo. Two balls and no strikes. Fastball to the hole, under the glove of Hanley Ramirez, who appears perplexed that he didn't come up with that. So Hanley trying to backhand the ball in the hole, and it goes right under the glove. It didn't come up, so I assume it's a base hit until we hear otherwise. And now Wainwright will be called away. They'll go to the bench and see if they can do something with that base hit. Daniel Descalso will be coming up, and he would bat for Wainwright. It is a base hit for Kozma. So we'll see just how important that hit is. Now, Descalso has had a very tough series. You know he would love to do something. He was 0 for 4 in the first game. He appeared as a pinch hitter, went 0 for 1 to be 0 for 5. He started at short, went 0 for 2, that's 0 for 7. He made 2 errors, so 0 for 7, 2 errors, and it was his tough luck last night on that little looper hit by Juan Rivera. Descalso was playing second base, leaped in the air, just got the fingertips of his glove and couldn't make the catch, and the winning run came home. So with all of that as the background, you have an idea of just how badly he would like to do something right against Jamie Wright here in a 2-2 tie. Dan is from San Carlos, about 25 minutes, they tell me, from AT&T Park. His family, Oakland A's fans, their season tickets. He was on Team USA that won a gold medal at the World Cup 3 years ago. Descalso, 25. He'd be 26 in the middle of October. Second year with the Cardinals. Looking at Pete Kozma over there at first base. Kozma does not have a stolen base. Very close. So a 1-out single. Descalso batting for Wainwright. That's a strike. 0-1. In the Dodger bullpen, they back up Jamie Wright. Among other things, he would be due to bat third in the 7th. So they have Brandon League and Paco Rodriguez. No balls and 1 strike. On deck, the center fielder, John Jay. Oh, 0-2. Talk about Descalso being a hungry hitter. John Jay is also in that category, the on-deck hitter. He's 1 for 15, waiting his turn. 0-2 the count to Pete Kozma. He's at first with the base hit. Then Descalso came up, and he's in a hole 0-2. The Cubs are putting it to the Pirates. The Cubs are leading Pittsburgh 13-9 in the 9th inning. After a bad ball, and for Descalso, I'm sure Danny can't wait to get out of town. He has not had anything good happen to him in the entire 4 games.
Center fielder, John Jay.
Now John Jay, who could certainly sympathize with him, but Jay's a left-hand batter. So the Dodgers have Paco in the bullpen, and Paco it will be, apparently. And we'll be right back. With Paco Rodriguez going up against John Jay. Rodriguez pitched the 7th inning last night, made 11 pitches, and got through the inning thanks to a double play ball. And John Jay, the center fielder, will be coming up. Jay with a lot of running speed. We've seen him run down some long fly balls. He's also stolen 17 bases. Kozma, the runner at first, does not have this stolen base. Jay's from Miami, hitting .306. Paco drafted this year by the Dodgers, and here he is pitching in the big leagues at the tender age of 21. So you have John Jay from Miami. Paco Rodriguez, Miami Beach. 1-1. Two-out, seventh inning, a 2-2 tie. Pete Kozma, potential tiebreaker at first, without a stolen base. There he goes. Pitch is low. The throw is off the mark. A sweep try by Ramirez. Couldn't do it. So Paco Rodriguez has not really learned as a left-hander to make that play to first. And so here's a man without a stolen base stealing on a left-hander. So now Jay trying to pick him up. 2-1. A broken bat, little flare, Hanley Ramirez. No runs, one hit, one left, and we're heading to the bottom of the seventh in a 2-2 tie. Pretty tough ball game. Dodgers have been able to get themselves a few hits, but the only runs came the electrifying home run by Andre Ethier, and for Matt Trainer hitting eighth to draw 2 walks, hitting 168. That has to be a rather agonizing thought for Adam Wainwright. So we move this tie ball game into the bottom of the seventh inning. Mark Ellis will lead it off, then Matt Trainer, and then Paco Rodriguez. Trevor Rosenthal out of Lee Summit, Missouri, went to Cowley County Community College. He's 6'2", 190, 22 years old, and ball one. Mark Ellis was once quoted as saying, "It doesn't make any difference where I hit in the lineup." Well, for the first time, he is not either in the number 1 or number 2 spots. Mark down there hitting 7th, has fly to center and struck out. (2-0) and a strike. For Rosenthal, an 0-2 record, an ERA of 4. He has walked 5 and struck out 17. Now back, 2-2. For Rosenthal, he has a heavy sinking fastball that's been clocked as high as 95. There's a good slider and a changeup. Pretty much a very easy delivery. Fastball. Still 2-2. It lands in fastball alley directly behind home plate and second level. Matt Trainer tuning up, and then it'll be Paco Rodriguez. There's no one throwing in the Dodger bullpen. And a good letter high fastball blows him away. So Ellis strikes out. 1 down. Wainwright struck out 4. Fife struck out 9. Tolleson got 1. Wright got 1. So we've had a total of 16 guys strike out. Here's Trainer. And Bobby Abreu comes out on deck. He would bat for Rodriguez. Rodriguez, by the way, made only 4 pitches. One ball and no strikes. 1-1 to Matt. Walk was aboard on the home run by Ethier in the 3rd. Walked, and the Dodgers put a hit and run play on. Herrera swung and missed, and Trainer was shot down by Yadier Molina. and then Herrera bunted for a base hit. One ball and two strikes. Almost hit him. 2-2. Zepchinski and Marty throwing in the pen. Zepchinski is the left-hander. Now back. Cardinal uniform is one of the nicest uniforms in baseball, with the bat and the bird sitting on top of the bat and the striped socks. Good looking outfit. Foul ball. Descalso shows his stockings, as does John Jay. There was a time when everybody wore them that way. Two and two. Foul back. So Trevor Rosenthal out of Missouri. Trainer with Abreu waiting in a 2-2 tie. Bottom of the seventh. 3-2. And fastball walking. So if there is a sin to be committed in baseball, it has occurred here today, where the number 8 hitter in the Dodger lineup has walked all 3 times. So Bobby Abreu now will come up and bat for Paco Rodriguez. Boy, I tell you, Mike Matheny has to show a great deal of restraint to see a veteran catcher hitting in the 160s, batting 8th, walk 3 straight at bats. Though Matt says thank you very much. Second time in his entire career, and the first time about 6 years ago. So we'll see if the Dodgers can do something about that big break. First thing they're going to do, D. Gordon is going to run for Trainer. So right away we will have a battle within the war. That will be Rosenthal and Molina trying to keep an eye on D. Gordon. Gordon last night in the 9th inning stole second and came home on Cruz double. Interesting though, the Cardinals to a man still say that Gordon was out at second base last night. They were convinced of that. And the ball to Bobby Abreu. Abreu, strictly a pinch hitter. He has a half a dozen. 2 runs batted in. On deck, Shane Victorino. So Gordon takes a pretty good lead. And low, ball 2. And you've got to believe the very presence of D. Gordon is a distraction to Trevor Rosenthal. First year in the big leagues. Gordon has a total of 33 stolen bases. 2-0 to Abreu. Gordon goes, pitches high, the throw is high, the tag is on, and Gordon is nailed. You just don't keep running against Yadier Molina. Not much. He got a good pitch to handle. The pitch brought him up out of his crouch, and his throw a little high, but it was there so quickly that Descalso was able to make the tag, and there was no argument. So they shoot Gordon down 2-4. Interesting on that play. Remember, you have a left-hand hitter up here, and yet it was the second baseman who broke to cover, not the shortstop. 3-0 to a Brave. Strike. You know, most of the time on a steal, you have a left-hand batter, the shortstop covers, right-handed the second base, but on that play, Descalso broke, covered, got the tag. 3-1. 3-2. When the Cardinals come up in the 8th inning, they will pose a threat. Carlos Beltran, Matt Holliday, and Alan Craig. They're the big boys in the 8th. Two out, bases empty, 7th inning, 2-2. Got him. Fastball at the knees. Down goes Abreu. Down go the Dodgers. And we're heading for the 8th in a 2-2 tie. The Dodgers and the Giants fighting to win the division. Now it could still very well be the Giants could try to spoil the Dodgers, as the Dodgers have spoiled the Giants several times here. Brandon League and A.J. Ellis put on the gear, and we go to the 8th with Carlos Beltran 2 for 3 at the plate. So the Dodgers have used Fife, Tollison, Choate, Wright, Rodriguez, and now League. Carlos Beltran hitting .267, but 29 home runs, 87 runs batted in. They're all finals, the important games that have to do with the wild card. The Astros beat the Phillies again 7-6. The Brewers knocked off the Mets 3-0, and the Cubs hammered the Pirates 13-9. Anthony Rizzo for the Cubs had 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in, and Alfonso Soriano went over the 100 RBI mark for the year. Foul back. In the 8th inning, some rather ominous numbers for the Cardinals. Overall, on the road, when they're tied after 7 innings, their record 3 wins, 12 losses. Ground ball, playing the line was Gonzalez. That'll do it for Beltran. 1 away. There is one other note that would have to stick in the craw of the Cardinals. What they've done in 1-run games on the road. They are 7-17 on the road. So a bad combination. The Dodgers hoping to use it against them. So now here's Matt Holliday. Holliday hit by a pitch, came home on a wild pitch in the 1st inning, looped out in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th. The Cardinals have had 3 singles since the 1st inning. When the Dodgers bat in the bottom of the 8th, Victorino, Ethier, and Kemp. One ball and 1 strike to Matt Holliday. So Brandon League trying to shut him down, be the hold man, we assume, for Belisario to pitch the 9th. Two and 1. 21 games with the Dodgers. Fewer hits than innings pitched. That's always good. And the strikeout to walk ratio is 2-1. So he's done a lot of good work. Fastball at 95. Matt couldn't catch up to it. League has been so effective. He's tossed scoreless innings in 12 of his last 13 appearances. And over that stretch, he's only allowed 5 hits. 3-2 on deck, Alan Craig. League wants a new ball. Holiday against Brandon League, 1-for-2 in the past. 3-2. Got him. So Holiday strikes out a second time. Cardinals have had their wings clipped so far. And with 2 out in the 8th, Alan Craig. For the Cardinals, they have to look back at the first inning and shake their heads. They had a run in. They had runners at second and third, 1 out. John Eli was heating up in the pen behind Stephen Fife. And David Freese was the header. And the MVP of the World Series and the LCS with second and third struck out. And then Skip Schumacher came up and he struck out. And really the Cardinals have not been able to do anything since. So they let a big one get away in the first inning. Comebacker, lead plenty of time. And that'll do it for Craig. Down go the Cardinals. And the Dodgers now coming up. Bottom of the 8th, Victorino, Ethier, and Kemp in a 2-2 tie. You scored 2 runs in the third on the home run by Andre Ethier, and that's it. We are now in the bottom of the 8th, still 2-2. Victorino, Ethier, and Kemp coming up against Trevor Rosenthal. Victorino flied to right and twice hit back to the box. Shane hitting .254 and ball 1. Rosenthal did well in the 7th inning, especially when Gordon was running for Trainer. And misses twice, 2 balls and no strikes. In there. Dodgers and Cardinals, flat-footed tie for the wild card. Each team 76 wins, 70 losses, and this their last meeting. 2-2. Same duo back up again in the Cardinal bullpen. Salas and Zepchinski. Salas the left-handed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. High foul, out of play. And foul back again. Fastball alley. They don't hit curveballs back here. They don't hit sliders back here. But they hit fastballs in the second deck directly behind home plate. 2-2. Breaking ball, but it stayed up. Either a straight change or that slow breaking ball that just didn't break. 3-2. Fastball and a chopper to Descalso. Bad hop, but he stays with it. So 1 out in the 8th inning. And the batter, Andre Ethier. When Ethier came up in the 3rd inning, he already had 2 home runs in his career against Wainwright. And he hit number 3 with Trainer aboard to tie up the game. Before that, he grounded to short. and after that he grounded to first. 5 for 14 in the series. 1 out, 8th inning, 2-2 tie. Paid attendance over 35,000. And a strike. 35,754. Don't forget the Dodgers have only 6 home games left, starting on the 28th. 3 with Colorado and then 3 with the Giants. 1-1 the count. Dodgers have now drawn 3,100,000. Ball 2, 2-1. Dodgers are extremely grateful over the tremendous allegiance the fans in Southern California have had for them ever since we came out in 1958. It has just been remarkable. That's a strike. 2-2. Of course, the Dodgers have tried to provide some rather remarkable entertainment, and I think you agree when you look over the rosters of all the years out here, they have pretty much done that. And they're trying to do it again this year. 2-2 to Ethier. Three and 2. That was clocked at 100. So imagine you're down there squinting in the sunlight, and the pitcher hits 100 on the speed gun. Fastball squirted foul. Matt Kemp waiting on deck. Got him on a high fastball at 97. I'm not sure if that was in the strike zone. So down goes Ethier, 2 out. Take a look at the location. Yeah, up there. So down goes Andre. But boy, you see that thing rise. I mean, that fastball was really taken off. 3 strikeouts for Trevor Rosenthal. He got Mark Ellis. Then he got Abreu. Now he gets Ethier. Matt Kemp had grounded out, struck out, and then doubled in the 6th inning. Strike. That was Adam Wainwright's last inning. The General went 6, made 92 pitches. 0-1. Boy, I tell you, he is throwing hard. From 95 to 100. Two, bottom of the 8th. That's another 100-mile-an-hour. And the scouts tell me that the Dodger gun used here in the ballpark is pretty accurate. Got him. Wow. That's quite a performance for Trevor Rosenthal out of Lee Summit, Missouri. But hard thrower. And we're still 2-2. For each side. Trevor Rosenthal strikes out 4 in 2 innings. The game started where Stephen Fife struck out 6 in the first 2 innings. So that's been the keynote speech. And now we've arrived in the 9th. Yadier Molina has walked and stolen a base, flied to right and struck out. 0-4-2. Brandon League, the 6th Dodger pitcher, and he worked a strong 8th inning. Right. Oh and 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to Yadier Molina. Cardinal bullpen has been somewhat of a weak spot in the series. That's a strike. They're third highest in the number of wins that were lost, a good 15% higher than the rest of the league. 2-2. Cardinals have lost 24 games by 1 run. The bullpen has allowed runs to score in the final 3 innings of the game in 18 of those 24 losses. So the Dodgers in the 9th inning will have Gonzalez, Ramirez, and Cruz. Meanwhile, 3-2 the count to Molina. Slice down the line, foul, back into the stands. To repeat, 35,754. As we mentioned throughout the series, Molina, who struck out in the 6th inning, is always one of the toughest hitters in the league to strike out. He strikes out 10% of the time. And he draws the walk. In looking at the Cardinals, Dodgers have done a great job in nailing the leadoff hitter. In fact, here we are in the 9th inning. That's the first time today that the Cardinals have gotten a leadoff man on. So Molina at first, and the batter is David Freese, who has struck out single, flied out. Matt Carpenter comes out on deck. He would bat for Rosenthal. Oh, 0-1 to David. Freese 1 for 3. I would guess that's a little bit of a tough label to carry around the next year. The fact that you're the MVP and all that stuff. David's 29 and a strike, so he's in a hole 0-2. Freese 19 home runs, 76 runs batted in. And pulled foul outside of third. He got a ball in, turned on it, pulled it too much. The walk to Molina was the first walk they've given up since Molina walked in the 1st inning. Slider away and a nice save by A.J. Ellis. Molina was looking ready to take advantage if that had gotten away. 1-2 the count. Shadows now just starting like long fingers to reach out towards home plate. Almost looks like a little bit of a piano keyboard up along third base. Chop to the hole, going back to get it as Ellis goes for the front man and gets him. They're late at first. Nice play by Mark. First to fill up the hole and then to get Molina. 4-6 fourth play. Matt Carpenter, a man of many talents, now will come off the bench and bat for Trevor Rosenthal.
Matt Carpenter.
Adron Chambers will run now for Freese. Chambers finished up the game last night in right field. Runs very well. We'll see if they try to turn him loose and steal a base. So Adron Chambers running at first. Matt Carpenter will cause a meeting at the mound. Carpenter, a left-hand batter, 0 for 4 last night. He had a home run in the second inning of the second game of the series. He also had a base hit and scored a run in that game. And in the first game, he started at third base and had 1 hit. So we've seen him play third, second base, and right field. So Matt Carpenter checking in for Rosenthal. Chambers at first, and I think the meeting at the mound was all about Chambers, who takes a pretty good lead. Rosenthal had to worry about D. Gordon. Now League is worrying about Chambers. Chambers runs well, but he doesn't have a stolen base because he's only been in 30 games. Ball 1 to Matt Carpenter. Chris Carpenter, we mentioned at the very start of the game, pitched a simulated 95 innings. So the word is that the Cardinals might very well have the Cy Young winner of 2005 in time for the final 10 games. Maybe. Roller down to Mark Ellis. They're going to get 1, and Hanley doubles in at first. No runs, no hits, nobody left, and we're heading to the bottom of the 9th in a 2-2 tie. Who just hit into the double play, stays in the game at third base, and the new pitcher Fernando Salas coming in. Today, Hispanic Heritage Family Day, and it's proper and right to have someone come in to represent Mexico, and it's Fernando Salas. He's from Huatabampo in Sonora, Mexico. He was signed out of the Mexican League 5 years ago. Pitched there for a couple of years with Saltillo, and eventually the Cardinals picked him 5 years ago. Basically fastball, slider, and changeup. Doesn't throw changes very often. It'll be Adrian Gonzalez, Hanley Ramirez, and then Luis Cruz. So there is a definite Hispanic connection here. Salas, Gonzalez, Ramirez, and Cruz. And here we go. Popped up. Battling the sun. Alan Craig. Boy, that thing was up there a while. 1 away. Brandon League made a total of 27 pitches while he was in there. Dodgers now, I think that's Ronald Belisario throwing in their bullpen. Hanley Ramirez single left, struck out, and popped up. So Hanley 1 for 3. And a strike. Now we have a few shadows that has reached across the third base foul line. The long stretch out towards the mound. Oh, and 1. Oh, and 2. Ramirez struck out in the 4th inning. So Hanley has struck out 120 times total. One and 2. Boy, looking down on home plate. You've got to believe it's a little difficult now. Shadows and sun, and the pitcher and sun, and they're throwing in the 90s. 2-2. Just imagine what it must have been like for Ethier and Kemp when Trevor Rosenthal hit 100 on the speed gun a couple of times. But all part of the life of the big leaguer, just like Matt Kemp knows. 2-2. Just missed inside. Luis Cruz waiting on deck. And a little foul off first. No play. It's going to go in the stands. Hits the roof. Kangaroos back up about 7 or 8 rows. So Hanley is still there. 3-2 the count. 1 out, 9th inning in a 2-2 tie. Cardinals got 2 in the first inning, but they left runners at second and third with 1 out. That's come back to haunt them. Dodgers scored 2 in the third. They've been locked in ever since. 3-2. Shot up the middle off his leg. Recovered by Salas to throw him out. So Ramirez hits back to the box. 2 down. And the batter, Luis Cruz. Cruz struck out in the second inning. Single to left field with 2 out in the fourth. In the 6th inning, they were asking him for his magic. There was Kemp at second with 2 out, and Cruz grounded out. Nice play by David Freese on the ball. The Cruz at the plate. Oh, and 1. Cruz has had 2 previous at-bats against Salas. He's 0 for 2. 2 out, 9th inning. 2-2 tie. One ball and 1 strike. 2-1. Fernando Salas, 27 years old, 6'2", about 200 pounds. Two and two. In case you wonder, Salas has allowed 4 home runs in 54 innings. So a lot of deuces, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out in a 2-2 tie. High drive to right, very playable. Right there, and battling the sun to make the catch. Boy, that was a tough play for Carlos Beltran. I don't know if he has sunglasses on or not, but that was a nightmare. It is that bright overhead, and we're still locked in at 2. The Cardinals are tied up, but we do know that Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Milwaukee all scrambled today, and Philadelphia lost. So we'll see just what happens when we get the outcome of this game. A couple of notes as Ronald Belisario comes in to pitch the 10th inning. The Cardinals have played 14 extra inning games. They are 4-10, and on the road in extra inning games, the Cardinals are 1-5. For the Dodgers, they've played 13 extra inning games. They're 7-6, and at home, the Dodgers have won 4 of 6 extra inning games. So Pete Kozma will start it off, then Daniel Descalso and John Jay. Kozma struck out, fly to right, single to left, and stole a base. But they left him in the 7th inning. Almost hit him. And Belisario throwing 94. Belisario is 6-1. .25 walks, 54 strikeouts. The opposition is hitting 181 against Belisario. That's a strike. 3-1. So now the batting box dissected. Right hitters in shade. A left-hand batter would be in the sunlight. Big bouncer, foul. Belisario's throwing 94. 3-2 the count. It's amazing how they hit the ball. When you realize he's 60 feet 6 inches away, but by the time he strides, it's at least almost 4 feet. So he's about 56 feet away. Sunlight and shadows, throwing 94. And a breaking ball takes care of Kozma. Now Daniel Descalso, who struck out in the 7th inning. Final score, the Diamondbacks beat the Giants 10-2. Patrick Corbin went 8. He also knocked in 4 runs to beat Ryan Vogelsong. Ryan was knocked out in the 4th inning. So the baby backs over there. Diamondbacks have a very young pitching staff. They'll be a factor next year. Right. 1-1. John Jay on deck. Ball 2. So it's been Fife, Tollison, Choate, Wright, Rodriguez, League, and now Belisario. 7 Dodger pitchers, minus Clayton Kershaw. 2-2. Meanwhile, Adam Wainwright, who started the game, went 6 innings, gave up the 2-run home run to Adam Ethier, and he is still in uniform, rooting in the dugout. Two and 2 to Descalso. High pop foul. Adrian Gonzalez, no play. $35,754 out here. The high today 86 degrees. Pretty good fall off from yesterday's 103. 2-2 to Descalso. So Belisario went all the way and struck out Kozma. Now he goes all the way with Descalso. And John Jay on deck, left-hand hitting center fielder. 3-2. And hit in the air to center. Kemp going back. It's over his head, going to the wall. Descalso into second and holding there. So Dan Descalso, who has had a very rough series, now suddenly comes up with a long double with 1 out in the 10th inning.
Center fielder, number 19, John Jay.
And John Jay will now try to pick him up. So Danny Descalso coming up with the extra base hit. That would be his 9th double. John Jay has had a rough series. So he's another fellow who is very, very hungry. 1 for 16 in the series. And a strike. Today, he has struck out 3 times and popped up. On deck, Carlos Beltran. So 1 out, a tiebreaker at second base. Nice save by A.J. Ellis. 1-1 the count. The mound now is sprinkled. Shadows and sunlight just to add to the tough area at home plate. And a roller to short that gets the run over to third. Ramirez a high throw, but Adrian Gonzalez saves him, and more importantly saved a run. So Jay is 1 for 17 in the series. Descalso is now at third, and the batter is Carlos Beltran, and there's no way they're going to fool around with him. They will walk Beltran, 35 years old or no. And Matt Holliday will be coming up. So in a moment, first and third. For Belisario, with a runner at third, as we always do, he has 1 wild pitch. 2 out, 10th inning, 2-2. Ball 3 and ball 4 coming up. So Beltran goes to first, and Matt Holliday, who was hit by a pitch and eventually wild pitched home for a run. Since then, 0 for 3. It has not been a big series for Matt Holliday. He did have a base hit and a walk in last night's game. He had a home run with a man aboard, and in the first game went 0 for 4. First and third, 2 out. And a ground ball to the left of Ramirez. He makes the feed. So the Cardinals waste the double by Descalso. Lead 2, heading for the bottom of the 10th, 2-2. Tie. Fernando Salas retired the Dodgers in order in the 9th. Now going to work in the 10th. Matt Holliday thoroughly disgusted as he took his position in left field. You know, for Holliday with those big numbers, 27 home runs, 96 runs batted in, but with runners in scoring position and 2 out, he's hitting 197. So he's been unable to come up to be Mr. Clutch. That's really been Alan Craig. And now here comes Mark Ellis, followed by A.J. Ellis. And ball 1. Matt Guerrier begins to loosen up in the Dodger bullpen. Ronald Belisario made 21 pitches while he was in there. That's a strike. Mark Ellis flied to center, struck out twice, 0 for 3, hitting .265. 1-1. And that's going to be hit into right field. Base hit. Beltran over to get it. Ellis holding with the single. So the Dodgers have the winning run aboard with nobody out. Hit number 1 off Salas. Hit number 6 for the Dodgers. Now let's see about A.J. Juan Rivera now comes out on deck. So they're expecting A.J. to bunt. Carpenter's well in on the grass. A.J. shows bunt. takes high, ball one. In looking at A.J. Ellis, he has sacrificed 3 times. One ball and no strikes. A.J. showing bunt again. And gets it down. The play will be Salas to his second baseman, Descalso. So now the Dodgers have the winning run at second with 1 out in the 10th inning. Juan Rivera will be coming up. Rivera, remember, hit that looper that went off the fingertips of Descalso last night and turned out to be the winning run with Herrera sliding home. So Descalso, you know, thinking about that as Rivera checks in. Rivera and Salas, have they ever faced each other? The answer is no. Dodgers have used Gordon as a runner, Herrera and Abreu as pinch hitters. And now Rivera hitting for Belisario. And the strike, 0-1. Last time the Dodgers had a runner at second base, it was the 6th inning when Matt Kemp led off with a double and never moved. So Mark Ellis carrying the winning run at second, 1 away. 0-1 to Rivera. In the dirt, going to the backstop. Over to third goes Ellis. Well, we mentioned earlier, certainly a weakness for the Cardinals has been their bullpen. And now their bullpen has put them in a very tough spot. For Salas, that is his 4th wild pitch. Infield has to play up. And the Dodgers have the winning run 90 feet away. They are also 90 feet away from being atop the wild card race. The outfield is shallow. A 1-ball, 1-strike count, and everybody up. Check swing. They're going to appeal. No swing, says Doug Eddings. 2-1 to count to Juan. On deck, Shane Victorino. Now they've decided they will walk Rivera intentionally. So in a moment, first and third with 1 out. So Rivera getting the walk. Shane Victorino is coming up, and Mike Matheny is heading for the mound. Matheny has had a busy bullpen, and yet he has only used 3 pitchers compared to the Dodgers, who have used 7. Victorino is a switch hitter, and as far as if you look at his numbers, he is a much better hitter batting right-handed. So they're not going to bring a left-hander in for sure. Hitting .288 right, .220 left. So they'll keep him the way he is. Today, Shane flied to right, twice hit back to the box, grounded out, and of course with his speed and also his bunting ability, there are a lot of possibilities. Victorino, among other things, has 8 sacrifices. So if they're thinking about a squeeze, tighten up that seatbelt. Here we go. 0-1. Victorino also has only grounded into 4 double plays. So the Cardinals have Craig holding Rivera. Descalso is up, but they're not all the way up. It's halfway now. The only one really up would be Matt Carpenter at third. 0-1. And a roller to second. They're going to go to the plate. They're going to have a rundown with Mark Ellis. They are now running him to home plate, which is the worst thing they could do. Finally the tag. By the time they run down Mark Ellis, the Dodgers have runners at second and third. So Descalso starts the rundown, and Ellis is wrapped up. So Victorino now winds up at second base, and Rivera winds up at third. And now Andre Ethier with first base open with Matt Kemp coming up. If you're Matheny, do you pitch to Ethier? We'll watch Yadier Molina, and the answer is no. You put him aboard. So in a moment, Matt Kemp will be coming up with 2 out and the bases loaded. Matt today has grounded out. He has struck out twice, and he also doubled. So Ethier, Victorino, and Rivera, but it's Rivera who has to get home. We'll look up Salas and Kemp. Matt's only had 1 at-bat against them in the past. He's 0 for 1. So in a moment, the ball game will be on the line. 2-2, bottom of the 10th. The winner is in first place by 1 game in the second wild card, and it's going to get wilder. All right, it is boiled down to this. It all started with a leadoff single by Mark Ellis. A.J. Ellis sacrificed him to second. The wild pitch really scrambled his eggs, so they had to walk Rivera intentionally. They get the rundown on Victorino for the second out. Walk Ethier, and here they go. Matt Kemp versus Fernando Salas. The shortstop, Cosma, playing deep on the rim. The same now for Descalso. Everybody back. And ball 1. There's the man, Rivera. Fly ball, very playable. The Sun makes it tough, but Jay makes the catch. So the Dodgers get the bases loaded but come up empty, and we're heading for the 11th inning in a 2-2 tie. Matt Kemp hitting the fly ball to center with the bases loaded and 2 out, moves us on another notch. And Matt Guerrier becomes the 8th Dodger pitcher. Fife, Tolleson, Choate, Wright, Rodriguez, League, Belisario, and Guerrier. Matt will be facing Craig, Molina, and Chambers. First pitch, hop up. Coming in for it is Adrian to make the catch. So Craig doesn't hang around long. One away.
Catcher, number 4,
Yadier Molina walked and stole a base, flied to right, struck out and walked. We'll see about a pinch hitter coming up for the Cardinals. That was the spot Freeze, Chambers ran. Then it became the pitcher spot. Ball 1 to Molina. Matt Guerrier, 0-2, ERA 4.5 in his 12th game. 1-1. Guerrier seeing limited service. The opposition hitting just 182 against him. Matt was rusty. Stopped pitching in April. Didn't come back till August. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball 2. Brian Anderson, left-hand hitter, will now come up and hit in the spot originally occupied by Freeze. Two and 1. And a strike. 2-2. Two in the 11th. And hitting. The Yadier Molina hit by the pitch. And with 1 out, Brian Anderson will be coming up. Brian Anderson is a catcher. He's from Thousand Oaks. Went to Simi Valley High School, and they'll have a little meeting about how to pitch to him. Brian Anderson passed up a scholarship from Arizona to sign with the Cardinals. Did well in the Midwest League. Among other things, somewhat of an irony, Brian played with Colby Rasmus and Chris Perez on Team USA in November of 2007 for the World Cup. They were the only 2 players ranked above him in the Cardinal organization before 2008, and yet nothing happened. He has spent 3 years in Memphis, came up for a cup of coffee 2 years ago, and went right back down to Memphis again. He must love country music. So the left-hand hitter at Thousand Oaks at the plate. Molina at first, and that's ball 1. 2-2 in the 11th. Cardinals had a runner at third in the 10th inning. Dodgers had the bases loaded in the 10th. And the strike. Anderson has only had 6 at-bats, but he has 2 hits, one of them a double. In his 6 at-bats, he has struck out twice. He is 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Brian Anderson is 25 years old. He'll be 26 the middle of December. Molina, by the way, is a very, very good base runner. That's off the plate. It might come as a surprise. A guy who catches every inning, every day. He not only has 19 home runs, 66 runs batted in. Would you believe he's stolen 11 out of 13? So you can't take anything for granted with Molina. 2-1. And that's grounded foul. 2-2 the count. There goes Molina. And the ball is hit to short. Gets away from Hanley Ramirez for the moment, but he runs right through into the double play. So the Dodgers dodge another bullet. Molina out. Down go the Birds, and we go to the bottom of the 11, 2-2. Matheny and the Cardinals trying to run Molina, only to have the strikeout and then the perfect throw to nail Yadier. The old story with the left-hander up, it was the shortstop to cover, and Ramirez was there to pin him. Now they go to the bullpen once again, and what that means is we're going to see our 12th pitcher in a 2-2 tie. Dodgers have used 8, and Shelby Miller is the 4th pitcher used by St. Louis. Shelby's a Texan, lives in Abilene, went to Brownwood High School, good athlete, and he'll be facing Adrian Gonzalez, Hanley Ramirez, and then Luis Cruz. Adrian Gonzalez today grounded to second, popped to short, grounded to short, fouled out to first. So Adrian a long 0 for 4, and Shelby Miller trying to hold on to the game. Miller has only been in 2 games. Shelby is 26 years old, and a strike, 0-1. He was a first-round pick by the Cardinals just 3 years ago. That's going to go foul the other way. 0-2 the count. Miller, an outstanding high school star. Among other things, he pitched a perfect game. Signed for a huge bonus. Made big news in St. Louis. His bonus was $2.875 million. Ground ball to the right side. Descalso. So Gonzalez goes 0 for 5. 1 out in the 11th, and Hanley Ramirez coming up. Miller is 6'3", about 200 pounds. Cardinals actually departed from their long tradition of choosing college players. Ball 1 to Hanley. Single to left, struck out, popped up, hit back to the box. Hanley 1 for 4. John Eli begins to warm up in the Dodger bullpen. That's a strike. One and one. That's drilled on the ground through into left field for a base hit. So the Dodgers left the bases loaded in the 10th inning. Now they get a 1-out single to left by Ramirez, and once again the chant for Luis Cruz. Cruz has struck out, single to left, grounded to third, flied to right. Hitting back of him is Mark Ellis. Young Shelby Miller, basically fastball, curveball, and a change. Cruz has read the book on him. Carpenter right at the bag at third. Ball 1. Cardinals had a man on in the 9th, a man on and 2 men on in the 10th, and a man on in the 11th. Dodgers have had a man on in the 10th inning. 1-0. That's going to go foul. Craig coming over to take a look right by the dugout and one-hands it. So Cruz fouls out to Alan Craig. And the batter will be Mark Ellis.
Mark Ellis.
Mark Ellis flied to center, struck out twice, single to right. Cut down in a rundown play when he was at third on the fielder's choice hit by Shane Victorino. So Ramirez at first with 2 out. We'll see about the Dodgers thinking about running him. Ramirez has stolen 17 out of 24. Ball 1. One ball and no strikes to Mark Ellis. Ramirez not going. 2-0 to count to Mark Ellis. 2-2 in the 11th. The winner stands alone in first place by a game in the wild card race. Keeping an eye on Hanley. He did not have much of a lead. Two balls and no strikes to Mark Ellis. They're still worrying about Hanley going. Here's a note. The Rockies and the Padres played a game that finished 12-11 with the Padres winning. What's surprising, it wasn't played in Colorado at Coors Field. It was played at Petco Park. 12-11 down south. Foul back. 2-1 to count. We're in the 11th. Coming up to 5 o'clock, so they've been struggling since 1:10. It was 86 degrees. The Dodgers have used Fife, Tolleson, Choate, Wright, Rodriguez, League, Belisario, and Guerrier. The Cardinals, Wainwright, Rosenthal, Salas, and now Miller. 2-1. We'll watch Hanley now, not going. On ball 3. A.J. Ellis on deck. Remember, Matt Trainer caught today to give A.J. a rest, but Ellis finally came in the 10th inning and sacrificed. So 3-1 to count. We understand with everything else going on, we have a few technical difficulties in the truck. So Ellis is waiting. 3-1 to count. We'll see if they run Ramirez now. He is not going. On a ball hit in the air down the left field line, going foul and out of play. 3-2 to count to Mark Ellis. Ellis a threat every now and then to bust one. He has 6 home runs, 29 runs batted in, facing young Shelby Miller. So this has been quite a game. We had Paco Rodriguez come in, and now we have a fella in his 3rd major league game, Shelby Miller. So the right-hander hands at his sides, checking Mark Ellis. Now, of course, Ramirez will be going. There he goes. And the pitch, a check swing. They look, swing, and down goes Ellis. Called out on strikes. So for the Dodgers in the 11th inning, no runs, 1 hit, a man left. At the end of 11, 2-2. And the Dodgers go to the bullpen again for John Eli. Shelby Miller made 14 pitches in his brief appearance in the 11th. So the Dodgers are down really to Josh Wall in the bullpen. The other pitchers available are all starters. Aaron Harang, Joe Blanton, and Josh Beckett. So outside of Wall, they've used everybody now when they bring in Eli. Eli becomes their 9th pitcher. And of course for the Dodgers, this was the day that Clayton Kershaw was supposed to pitch. And they are burning up the staff, as Clayton can only serve by standing, waiting, and watching. John Eli will be pitching to Matt Carpenter, then Pete Cosmo, and Daniel Descalso. This time of year, when they have the September 1 call-ups, there are a lot of clubs who take advantage of that, and immediately coming to mind, the San Francisco Giants. Just a couple of weeks ago, they were able to win an extra inning game and use 11 pitches. Meanwhile, a strike to Carpenter, who appeared as a pinch hitter and hit into a double play. Matt 0 for 1. So we're in the 12th. 2-2. It's been that way since the 3rd inning. Eli gets a strike. 0-2 to count. Matt Carpenter, who has had his ups and downs in the series, among other things, a home run the other night in the 2nd inning. John Eli, in his 2nd game, he's 0-1. The 1-2 pitch on the way is high, ball 2, 2-2. We're going to make it sound like a simulcast right now because we're still unable to get over some of the technical problems. 2-2 pitch on the way, and Carpenter fouls it away off to the left. So the roll call: Fife and Tolleson and Chode and Wright, Rodriguez and Lee, Belisario, Guerrier, and Eli. Wainwright, Rosenthal, Salas, and Miller for the Cardinals. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way, and Carpenter takes high and away, ball 3. 3-2. Carpenter, Cosma, Descalso, and if anybody gets on, the center fielder, John Jay. 3-2 pitch on the way, swung on and foul back. Cardinals have been on the road. They'll go home. Dodgers will go on the road, going to Washington, Cincinnati, San Diego. Three and 2 to Matt Carpenter. Check swing. They're going to look. No swing. Ball 4. So the Cardinals now get a Morin award, and the batter will be Pete Cosma with Descalso and Jay. And we'll see if they're going to ask Cosma to bunt. He's played shortstop all day. He has struck out, flied to right, singled, stole a base, and struck out again. So Cosma 1 for 4. Dodgers think he'll bunt. Eli out of a stretch, looks over at first. Now John deals. The bunt is on. The pitch is taken, low and away. Ball 1. Cosma taking a long look at Jose Aquindo. Eli reading A.J. Ellis. Luis Cruz in on the grass at third. And that's high. And a 2-ball no strike count now. And a little meeting at the mound. So the Dodger infield at this stage: Gonzalez and Punto, Ramirez and Cruz, Victorino Campanethier, and A.J. Ellis finishing up the game for Matt Trainer. 35,754 checking in, most of whom have stayed. And John Eli trying to get some outs here behind 2-0 to Cosma. Now let's see if the bunt is still on 2-0. Over at first, Carpenter, short lead, and Eli out of his stretch. Right-hander, very deliberate, set at the belt and backs off the rubber. He's going to be throwing out of sunlight for a brief second. There is a path of sunshine directly behind the mound, so when he raises that right arm, it'll get a glimpse of the sun with the ball on its way to the shadows of the plate. Throw to first, diving back is Matt Carpenter. Carpenter might be asked to run a little bit, though we'll check him. Matt is 1 for 2 in stolen bases, so no indication of where he can take an extra base on a base hit. The 2-0 pitch on the way. The bunt is on. The bunt is down. Gonzalez has to play it to first to Punto, and on the sacrifice, Carpenter advances to second. So the Cardinals left a runner at third in the 10th inning. Now they have a runner at second here in the 12th. And Danny Descalso coming up. Descalso came into the game as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning and struck out. He stayed in the game and doubled over Matt Kemp's head in the 10th. That was with 1 out. They got him to third, and that was that. So Descalso now with Matt Carpenter at second, 1 out, 12th inning in a 2-2 tie. Eli from his stretch, right-handed delivers in the dirt. Nice block by AJ. New ball put in play. 1 ball and no strikes. Cardinals scored 2 way back in the first inning, but they left runners at second and third with 1 out, and that's come back to haunt them. Eli again ready. Back he comes very high. Ball 2. So he walked Carpenter. Then he fell behind 2-0 to Cosma. And now he's fallen behind 2-0 to Descalso. 1 out, 12th inning in a most important game. And the 2-0 pitch on the way. Eli delivers. Swung on, fouled off to the left out of play. And the count 2-1. The field just about halved. Left field to a portion of left center in shade. Center and right in brilliant sun. Standing in the spotlight, anybody on the right side of the infield playing deep. And Gonzalez and Punto are right there. Squinting in, trying to see what develops at the plate. 2-1 the count. And the pitch swung on and fouled back. So Descalso up there, 2-2 the count. John Jay waiting on deck. He's 0 for 5 today. Two and 2 the count with 1 out, a runner at second base. John Eli set at the belt, another look back. The pitch at the plate swung on and fouled off. So Matt Carpenter goes back to the bag at second. Descalso trying to hang in there. Talking about hanging in there. Both managers burning up pitchers. 2-2 the count. Eli, another look back at Matt Carpenter. The pitch is swung on and missed, and down goes Descalso. So 2 out, runner still at second base. And now here is John Jay, and there'll be a little meeting at the mound. Give you an idea what kind of a series it's been for John Jay. 0 for 4 in the first game. 0 for 4 in the second game to go 0 for 8. 1 for 4 in the next game to go 1 for 12. 0 for 5 today. So he is 1 for 17 as he checks in with a chance to get his club in front. So John Jay and John Eli. Jay hitting .304. On deck is Carlos Beltran. So for Jay, he'll try to get aboard any way he can. Eli ready and delivers, and Jay takes a strike. And the count 0-1. Twelfth inning. 2-2. John Jay, by this time you probably know if you've been with us, he's from Miami. 0-1 the count. Eli delivers, foul back. So Eli now has the count his way, 0-2. After walking the leadoff man, causing a sacrifice, Descalso struck out, and now he has Jay, and he doesn't want to look at Carlos Beltran, you can bet, on deck. Jay 1 for 17 in the series. And a line drive, not only base hit, it's down in the corner, so that will score Carpenter. Jay will hold up at second base with a double. And boy, the Cardinal bench really came alive as John Jay, 1 for 17, now could be wearing the hero's robe as he doubles in a go-ahead run. So Eli's walk is cashed in. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 12th inning, they will have A.J. Ellis, then Nick Punto, and Shane Victorino. So they're going to walk Beltran one way or another. They wanted to avoid him. Second time they've walked him intentionally, and they go after Matt Holliday again. Beltran was 2 for 4. They walked him in the 10th. They walk him in the 12th. Holliday is 0 for 4. And going back over Holliday, he's had a reasonably quiet series. Matt 0 for 4 in the first game, 1 for 4 in the second to go 1 for 8. 1 for 3 to go 2 for 11. Holliday is 2 for 15. So they walk Beltran in the 10th inning, and Holliday hit into the third out. And they walk Beltran again. And here comes Matt again. So John Jay doubles into the right field corner. Matt Carpenter scores the run. And the Cardinals take a 3-2 lead. Eli will look back with Jay at second, Beltran at first. Big hole on the left side because Hanley Ramirez trying to take a step away from John Jay. Jay has stolen 17 bases. 2 on, 2 out, 1 in. Eli not ready. Now John plants the right foot, and he hooks up with Holliday. On deck, Alan Craig. Eli ready, very, very deliberate. Pitch to Holliday, hits him. So Holliday was hit in the first inning. Now he gets hit in the 12th inning. And the bases are loaded. And the number 1 butter and egg man, the toughest hitter in the league with runners in scoring position, is coming up. That's Alan Craig, who doubled in a run in the first inning, has gone 0 for 4 since. Up there with a jackpot. Bases loaded, 2 out, a run in. So Jay is at third, Beltran is at second, Holliday is at first, and here is Alan Craig. 81 runs batted in. 3-2 Cardinals looking for more. Eli ready and deals, gets a strike, 0-1. Craig, who has been so valuable, especially in these spots. Allen from Mission Viejo, takes off the plate. Alan Craig, no career grand slams. Alan's 28, went to University of California, Berkeley. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Eli comes right back, and it's hit foul off first base and down the line. 1-2 the count. By the way, just to irritate those of us who really are shocked every time it happens, that double by John Jay, who was 1 for 17, the count on John Jay was no balls, 2 strikes. All right, Craig gets a new bat. Yadier Molina on deck. Craig 1 for 5, waiting at the plate. Jay, Beltran, and Holiday all ready to go with 2 out. Eli set, checks, and deals, and there's a ground ball to the left of Ramirez. He comes up and gets it to second too late. The run scores, and it's a 2-run inning to make it 4-2 Cardinals. Ramirez did well to get to the ball, and Matt Holliday did a great job of hustling to beat the little flip. So Craig is aboard. It'll go as a base hit to the shortstop and a run batted in. Jay brings in the run. Beltran goes to third. That was a big hustle play by Holliday. And now Yadier Molina becomes the 8th man to come up. And ball 1. Well, apparently we've solved most of our difficulties, or at least some of them. 1 ball and no strikes to Molina. He has walked twice, been hit by a pitch, though he is 0 for 2. Rick Honeycutt going out to the mound to counsel Eli. So in the inning, it all started with a walk to Matt Carpenter. Cosma sacrificed. Descalzo struck out, and it looked like Eli might get out of the woods. But John Jay, on an 0-2 pitch, doubled into the right field corner as you look at Josh Wall beginning to warm up. Then after Jay's double that sent in the run, Beltran was walked intentionally. Holiday was hit by a pitch. Craig winds up getting an infield single and a run batted in to give him 2. So it's a 2-run 12th, and the Cardinals lead 4-2. Bases remain loaded. Beltran, Holiday, and Craig, and Molina up there with a 1 ball, no strike count. So Josh Wall is the last of the Mohicans down there in the Dodger bullpen. The only other pitchers are starters. That's low, ball 2, 2-0 the count. So it's hard for people at the back end of the bullpen, like a John Eli, who doesn't get a chance to pitch very often, and then is brought in a game like this, asked to throw strikes, and he's struggling. The 2-0 pitch, Molina takes a strike, 2-1. In that Giant game, when they used 11 pitchers, they used 25 players in that game. That's a September call-up kind of a game. Now the 2-1 pitch to Yadier Molina, and that's taken low. So Eli now in a mess of trouble. Molina, a contact hitter, has walked twice. He's been hit by a pitch. You've got to throw him a strike. 3-1. Beltran, Holiday, and Craig all out there waiting. 3-1 pitch to Molina is low, ball 4. So Molina walks and draws a run batted in. Craig goes to second. Holiday goes to third. Beltran comes home. That's the 3rd run of the inning. It is now 5-2 in favor of the Cardinals. Don Mattingly down to young Josh Wall. And now the 9th man to come up. In fact, make it 10, because Don Mattingly is coming up, and he's going to bring in Josh Wall. So Eli just can't cut it. He walked a couple, hit a batter, gave up a double and an infield single. And the young right-hander goes out. You can understand how he feels. So Eli leaves, and we'll be back. Is the last of the Mohicans. The only pitchers outside of the bullpen are the 3 starting pitchers. That means Joe Blanton. It also means Chris Capuano and Aaron Harang. So they've used up everybody else. Fife, Tallis, and Choate. Wright, Rodriguez, and Lee. Belisario, Guerrier, and Eli. And now Wall. Stephen Hill, backup catcher, part of the September call-up. He's out of Houston, Texas, 5'11", 200. 27 years old. Went to Stephen Austin State University. Moved on to Eastfield College and also San Jacinto College. So he's traveled a lot already. Swings and hits one in the air to right field. Ethier jogging in, makes the catch, and there is the last out in the 12th inning. So Josh Wall gets the out, but the Cardinals get 3, and they lead 5-2. Mott, of course, suffered the loss last night. It was Mott who came in to pitch the 9th inning, and with 2 out, gave up a single by Ethier. Gordon ran for him, and he stole second. Herrera tried to bunt later on. Cruz doubled. That scored Gordon, and then it was the looping single by Rivera. I can still see the ball that Cruz hit and that diving try by John Eli, but he missed it by inches, and the way Mott reacted on the mound. So Jason is asked to close it up now after his team picks up 3 and leads 5-2. Dodgers standing in the way would be A.J. Ellis, Nick Punto, and then Shane Victorino. Mott ready, deals fastball strike, and the count 0-1. Ellis has walked and sacrificed. 5-2 in favor of the Cardinals. In a game where the Cardinals led 2 runs in the first inning, Dodgers came back with 2 in the 3rd, and they've been locked in until here in the 12th. Jason Mott was a fine catcher. He had such a great arm. One year in the Midwest League, he had 47 assists in 48 games as a catcher. He comes back, and A.J. swings and doesn't get it and takes the long walk back to the dugout. So Ellis strikes out. 1 out in the 12th. Nick Punto coming up. This will be Punto's first at-bat. And as he checks in at the plate, Nick, a switch hitter, batting .222. As a left-handed batter, Punto is hitting just .188. Nick makes it tough. He's 5'9", and he bends at the knees and waist and takes ball 1. So the final meeting of the year between the Dodgers and the Cardinals figured to be a dandy. Dodgers had won 6 of 10, though the Cardinals trying to salvage this one, split the series, and leave 1 game in front in the wild card. And again, the Cardinals will be going home. The Dodgers go on the road to play Washington, Cincinnati, and San Diego. Cardinals will go home to play Houston for 3. Then they go on the road to play the Cubs and Houston again. But as the Dodgers finish with Colorado and San Francisco, Don Mattingly can also know the Cardinals finish with a tough 6 games at home, Washington and Cincinnati. So this thing is liable to go on and on until we run out of schedule. That's a strike to Punto. 2-2 the count to Nick. So a big 3 runs coming over in the 12th inning. That's given the Cardinals a nice cushion here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's ball 3 to Punto. Dodgers down last night, pulled it out with 2 of their own, and Victorino waits. 3-2 the count to Punto, trying to shrink that strike zone. Fouls it away. Game right about now would be about 4 hours and 20 minutes old. The crowd of 35,754, a good third of them at least, have headed home dinner time. 3-2 the count to Punto. Here comes Mott's pitch, swung on, that's fouled away. So Nick trying to keep the Dodgers alive here. Meanwhile, John Jay had the big hit. No balls, 2 strikes. He doubled to right in the 12th inning. And then the dime broke after the intentional walk. The hit batter, infield single up the middle. And the Cardinals had 3. Here's the 3-2 pitch on the way. And Mott delivers low for ball 4. So Punto keeps it alive with a 1-out walk. And that'll bring up Shane Victorino. Victorino is 0 for 5. Flied to right, twice hit back to the box, grounded to second. Last time up, his ground ball resulted in a fielder's choice, a rundown, and Mark Ellis was erased between third and home. The ball was a ground ball hit to Descalso. He went to the plate, and they got Ellis. So here is Shane, 0 for 5. Jason Mott with a closed stance, and the right-hander deals a strike, and the count 0-1. Mott is an even 6, 200-pounder, 30 years old, Port Huron, Michigan, and lives in Tennessee. They're not holding. They don't expect Punto to do anything, but they do play Craig up in front of him in case Victorino bunts. Full swing and a miss, and the count 0-2 to Shane. Craig remains up in front of the runner. Carpenter's deep at third. The outfield a little split. Jay shading him to left center. And a no ball, 2-strike count. Mott ready. Here he comes. Very high. Ball 1. We're kind of doing a radio game here for you because we understand we've had all kinds of technical difficulties down in the truck. Dodgers have had more than technical difficulties down on the field. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jason Mott comes right back. It is swung on and fouled away. So Victorino hacking away 1-2 against Jason Mott. Mott, who gave up the winning run last night in his 59th game. He's 4-5 with an ERA of 3. The opposition is hitting .201 against him. 16 walks, 72 strikeouts. Now you can make it 17 walks, 73 strikeouts, and another foul ball the other way. So Victorino hanging tough. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Shane. 5-2 Cardinals. 1 out, bottom of the 12th. Dodgers' 14th extra inning game. They're 7-6. Their 7th extra inning game at home. 4-2, not counting this one. The 1-2 pitch to Victorino, a check swing foul. That sends a fastball at 90 up into the second deck. So Mott, the catcher at Iona College in New Rochelle, New York. He had such a great arm. They converted him to pitching. They didn't have too tough a decision to make because he was hitting 188 as a catcher. Fastball, slider, curve, cutter. Can throw hard. Ground ball right side, gobbled up, and they're going to get 1, and that's all. So a 4-6 force play. Victorino at first, and the batter is Andre Ethier.
Right fielder, number 16, Andre Ethier.
So Andre Ethier homered in the third inning with a man aboard, his third home run against Adam Wainwright in his career. It was Andre Ethier last night with 2 outs who singled to right field against Jason Mott. That's when Gordon stole second and Cruz doubled him in, and then Rivera in the end of the game. So with 2 out, here is Andre. 5-2 in favor of the Cardinals. And the first pitch missing, ball 1, 1-0. So bringing the battle between Mott and Andre together. We'll see how that adds up. Mott comes right back. Andre takes off the plate. Jason Mott and Andre Ethier. Ethier was 0 for 1 against him this year. Then got the base hit last night, so he's 1 for 2. 2 out, 2-0 the count. Almost hit him, so close to the knuckles. Ball 3. On deck, Matt Kemp. So Mott decides to take a little walk behind the mound. 3-0 the count. Kemp, of course, the potential tying run. Matt Kemp just 0 for 1 against Mott in the past. That's a strike. 3-1 to Andre Ethier. 2 out, bottom of the 12th. 5-2 St. Louis. Mott checking in. Molina setting the target. 3-1 pitch. Swung on. Lifted back of short to left field. There's Matt Holliday making the catch. And the Cardinals in 12 innings beat the Dodgers 5-2 in a marathon. The Cardinals lead the Dodgers by 1 game in the wild card. The Cardinals go home and the Dodgers go on the road to play Washington, Cincinnati, and San Diego. Don't forget, 6 games left, starting on the 28th with Colorado and finishing with the Giants. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live coming up next. Good afternoon / good evening, everybody.